And right now, we're gonna do some deck building. I just gotta, I'm working on putting a message out on Facebook so that I can get more people in. Hadia Ursatovis. That's a great question. So I know a lot of the tools that Hadir have are just very interesting. They're not particularly good against Matile in and of themselves. Also, there's like 12 different ways that you can build Hadir right now. It's absolutely insane. You could build it aggro, like hyper aggro, low to the ground with a bunch of one drops, or you could build it with a bunch of bigger stuff in it and go more mid range, mid game. So it just depends on how you want to build the deck, for one. And Ursatovis, it might give you the answers like Void Flame Expulsion, but I don't really know what else really would be particularly great against Met. Maybe the Rayona package would be okay if you can get the Rayona package off fast enough. It's definitely going to be pretty important to have that package, but the Rayona package isn't really elementals or beasts, so it doesn't really go very well with Hadir. If you want to go elementals and beasts with Ursatovis, you're looking at stuff like the Void Flame sprite. No, the Void Flame. What's the little one guy that you drop in for free? Uh, Elemental, Void Fire Elemental, and the Sprite, stuff like that that you can drop in really easy that are count as beasts and elementals to help with the Hadir triggers. So maybe, but like it just really depends because you don't have to just be met with it, but you also have to beat the rest of the meta too, which um, it might just not have the right tools to be able to handle Liam. So, but I mean, I'm not saying that it isn't good either. I'm just trying to figure it out myself as I'm going here. I haven't seen a Hadir Ursatovis. I know my teammate really prefers Hadir Serpio because of stuff like Shade being an elemental. The fact that Shade is an elemental is pretty crazy because you can tuck it underneath the deer until you're ready to drop it in the graveyard. And then when you put it in the graveyard, you can bring it back to the field when you're ready to use it. I'm just finishing up this message here to the Facebook. Let's see. Yeah, I'm curious too. Gumber Kills. I love the name. Can you elaborate a little bit more on your feelings about the deck since you played with it a little bit? How do you feel that is? How do you feel it stands against Met? Like, what tools do you bring that are going to put Met in its place? And that's kind of what it comes down to is what strategy you use. Because here's the thing, right? So no deck is unbeatable. No deck um, is perfect. So everything's gonna have its loops and everything's going to have its combos. And Liam is kind of really just as good as Matt, but is just wins in a different way. So it's one of those things where you want to just play to the play style that you enjoy playing. Oh, did you already, Dylan? You already pull out some stuff, the champions and stuff. So some of the decks that I want to try to build are like Gemiel Kite or Gemiel Strigra. So obviously Rena is reputed to be able to be really fast. So Rena might have a chance against it because if you can shoot their units, if you can shoot your opponent's units consistently enough to keep everything in the graveyard so that he can't bring out a cheaper Met, if you can avoid having the cheaper costed Met, the Celestial hitting the board, then you might be able to get to a late game. And if you can get to a late game against Met, you have a better chance of winning. Dylan, how do you feel about Met and how to beat it? Dylan, you there, bud? Cosmic Fire? Okay. Alright, so Cosmic Fire is an insta-cast, costs 1 less to play for each fire tower face up. And this turn, ruined abilities of units do not trigger. Oh, Cat, that's you in the Discord? Okay. Feel free to chat if you want, bud. Join in the conversation.
Okay, I will.
And if you're at a point where you're not talking, just mute your mic for me.
Never. And the people can't hear me if I mute my mic.
Exactly.
And the people want to hear me because I'm so,
Hey,
yeah, right.
You're the amazing Magimaze guy. Why would people not want to hear you?
I know, the Magimaze is awesome.
You are
I
like,
really love it.
you are like the king of jank decks.
How is that a jank deck?
Well, because it's not mainstream and people have a hard time trying to get it to win.
Oh, mine's won many times.
Yeah.
I've beaten Liam, Ultra, whatever. The red speed guy.
Hence, you are the king.
I'll take it, I guess, if I have no other choice. But yeah, no, it's a lot of fun. I beat the Jillian deck. I've beaten, I think, just about all the main top tier decks people play here.
Nice.
And I've had people ask me for copies of the deck. Can I get a copy of that deck? I'm like, sure. Join our Discord. Join our Discord. It's right there. You can see the whole thing. And all of its iterations.
Yep.
But yeah, no, it's definitely. If we ever get a chance to play big tournaments again this year, because hopefully things will start getting back together, I'm bringing that deck and I'm gonna play it. I'm gonna blow everyone away by playing that deck. Anyway, Imagine Maze. What?
I hope you do. That'd be so much fun.
Yeah.
Omega Elemental. Which one are we talking about? In red, the Elemental Voidfire Elemental.
What are you making?
Me? I'm gonna be making a few decks here I want to have because these are the decks that I want to play against in this format. I either want to play like a Gemiel Dark or Gemiel Green or a Hoenna Green or maybe Hoenna Ursa. And then we also want to look at the Rain deck. We want to have a Rain deck built so that people can see how it plays and how it feels.
Well, you know what I think. I'm saying go Hoenna Kite or Hoenna Ursa, whatever his name is.
Ursa.
I was actually thinking about making a Hoenna Ursa deck myself. even though I don't like red.
Hey, Max, how's it going? Thanks for popping in.
Hi, Max.
So, the Howena, the whole point of having Striga is that you can put your Corona Shard on top of your deck so that you have the Corona Shard ready and
Yeah.
ready to go against Matt, against the Celestial unit. But the problem
Uh,
with that is that it's just not enough because all you have to do is just tap 2 pawns and you get your Matt back.
yep. And also, Met can destroy the Corona Shard, so it's
Yep.
really no point. There is like, you put him into play, like, oh, I tap Corona, sacrifice my spirit. I'm like, okay, I sacrifice 2 units and destroy your Corona Shard.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely, it's definitely not my favorite plan against it.
No, I played it for in that big event we had, and it did really well.
Okay.
The only reason why I lost to the Jillian Kite deck is because I didn't realize I could have kept attacking and destroying his shard so he wouldn't have 5, he'd only have 1. Because he kept using it as a shard drain to save his Ayakuma Juggernaut.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, that's fine. I will. I should have kept going. I would have beat him. But oh well. I didn't think of that until like it was way too late. Like round 13.
Yeah, Max, I think some people are working with Nefaria. They're working on the details with it. They're trying to get it to where it needs to be. Um, there is a lot of really strong interactions with the deck that have a lot of potential, and people are trying to break that right now. I know probably of like 3 or 4 players who are definitely Met favored. Nefaria favored. They like Nefaria for what she does and the abilities that she can generate.
I run
And
Nefaria.
you run Nefaria. I was gonna say you were one of them, Kat. So how do you feel about Nefaria right now, and what kind of a package do you build with her?
I love her. She just needs a little more oomph to get her to go because she needs a little something else in her deck. But I did mainly the Eok, the Nightmares, Eok, Thorn Guard, Mob, every Melantite, and just basically ran that package and just locked them down and they couldn't do anything.
Okay.
You just keep cycling and putting them under her ruined ability, drop them under her Mab, replay him back, sacrifice Mab, get the other Mab, put it back into play, and eventually discard my opponent's hand. So they're just basically top decking and hoping for the best, and then I just start destroying towers.
Yeah.
And you also need some Argent support with that. You need to put in the Argent Egg for Guardian. I think I had either 6 or 9 Guardians in my deck just to save myself from being destroyed too quick because the Dragon deck or the Rain Speed aggro deck or Light Liam aggro deck would just destroy it because it would be faster than you could start doing your stuff. The nice thing about Nefaria, she has the awesome answer to Bone Scavenger, which no one else has. Besides killing Bone Scavenger, she has the next best answer. Is
Okay.
you sacrifice the Throne Guard, turn off the Bone Scavenger so he has no abilities anymore. Put him under her, sacrifice 2 units, put him into the graveyard, and then EV them back into play so you just keep cycling them so they can, oh, you have a Bone Scavenger? I turn off his ability.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you want to attack with the 1000? Hey, I'm okay with that.
Yeah.
You want to attack with my units? No.
Yeah, I love the ability to be able to do that. I love the ability. So, the other day I was actually just looking at the, what was it, again, the Throne Guard that nulls the abilities.
Yep.
I was just looking at the Throne Guard the other day, and I was just like, this would be a really amazing way to be able to turn off your opponent's things on a regular kind of basis.
Yeah, that's why she's so good in that. He's so good in that deck because she can keep recurring him with the right cards. The only problem is the EV deck is not EV deck. The Nefaria deck is easily destroyed by Bone Scavenger, so you have to have a way to handle him, which is why I always play delayed poisons in mine.
Yeah.
So you see Bone Scavenger drop delayed poison. That I don't care about any other creature in your deck. Bone Scavenger is the most dangerous because he eats your people, and then you have nothing to recur, and then the deck just dies.
Yeah. Hey there, Pirate Painting. Thanks for joining us. Make sure everybody that's new in here, make sure you hit that follow button just so that you can see my notifications for later. Thank you for popping in. I appreciate all of you. We are building a few different decks right now. We want to try to figure out what feels okay against Metile and the meta in general. We want to talk about the meta. We want to talk about decks. Just have fun brewing. I don't even know what I'm going to play yet next weekend for the showcase and for the Tavern Brawlers tournament as well that's preceding the showcase.
You know what might be really good against Medial, if you could find a way to make it work faster, is using Dark as the primary and using the discard card effect so that he has no hand. So even though he can spend 2 to get a unit back, he won't have a hand to play other stuff, so it sort of will stagnate him.
Well, the problem with a discard package against Metile is that they can kind of
get it back.
Yeah, plus like whenever a card is discarded, so the Silver Generals, they read whenever this card is discarded, they can activate the ability. Not that they have to activate the ability and discard the card as a cost, right? So they can just hedge against that strategy and play the Silver General abilities in response after being forced to discard them. So I don't know if I like that. Plus, all you have to do is just get a couple silver pawns on the board, and then it's not really that big of a deal.
Well, usually the silver pawns get sacrificed. Because the idea is you tap 2 silver pawns, return a silver pawn, stack the 2 tapped ones, destroy a shard, destroy a unit, play a silver pawn, tap silver pawn, get a silver pawn back, wash, rinse, repeat. That's why I had 8 silver pawns in my deck, so I could do that multiple times, plus using the Overlord and the Inquisitor. No, I'm not in the. Oh, hey, this cat. I'm not building with him. I'm just talking to him.
Yep, hanging out while I try to put together this deck from rough scratch memory.
Yeah. I don't build janky decks like that. I build, Magimaze decks.
So.
Janky.
Yeah, janky decks. Right now, I'm just trying to put together the Rain Serpio package so that we can get a feel for it. This is probably the #1 contender at the moment for dealing with Metile directly. A lot of people might be shifting to Rain Serpio for next weekend in order to handle the Metile meta. The ability of Rain to be able to do damage to units by discarding, by expelling units, and the Arc Blazewalker package. If you expel Arc, you can do another 1,000 damage. So expel Arc with Rain, and you can shoot 2 of the silver pawns. Boom, boom, knock 2 of them out. And then you have Serpio that you can use to Soul Burst and make your opponent's board go away again. So if you're playing against a really small silver army unit package against your opponent, then you can turn off a lot of those abilities and things like that just by denying them a board state and stall them into the later part of the game. And if you can stall Metile into the late game, you have a much stronger chance of winning.
Perhaps. I've had a late game where, like I said, around like 10 or 11, I had 2 Metiles on the field. After he stole them once too.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's very. What are you putting in the dark pack? I just thought of a code that might work really well with that deck.
What do you think?
3 tricks. Or 3 treats. Sorry, 3 treats. Although trick would be really good too, though, because it turns off the effect of a character. Doesn't it trick turn off the effect of a character?
Yeah.
That might be great.
Trick.
That might be good against. That might be good against Metile. But 3 treats and what's his name? Oh my god! The 7 cost play him from your discard pile.
Shade.
Yes. Because then you can get the Blazewalkers, drop them into the discard pile, expel them, use their abilities.
Yep.
Bring them all back. Yeah, bring them all back with Leah, and then sacrifice trick again to the Shade, and then do it all again and wipe out their board.
Speaking of which, the same idea, Ghostly Demise is there too. We could use that.
Yeah, Ghostly Demise is a lovely code. The only problem is, you got to have a few extra codes that you Oh, well, I guess if you're going to be Bladewalker, you can get them all back. Yeah. Ghostly Demise would be great against the pawns.
So let's see what else is in the dark package against this. I'm not confident about the trick. I think it's not strong enough. It's
You
not
only need to
it's
have
not
one.
long lasting enough.
No, it's one shot.
Yeah.
For me personally, like I said, I always throw in delayed poison, so I would put in at least 2 delayed poisons.
Yep.
1 shade, 3 treats, 3 yamis.
Yeah, 3 Yamis for absolute sure. How many ghostly demise? Probably two, three.
2. Yeah, I wouldn't go more than 2. I wouldn't go 3. It would just get clogged because you'll have 3 yamis. You have 10 code. No, you have 12 code you can use.
Yeah.
So 3 yamis, 2 ghostlies, 1 shade, 3 treats, and then you have room for like you could do like 2 delayed poisons if you want, and maybe like 1 other random card that somebody might catch them off guard, like a revival of suns, something like that, that brings back an instantaneous character that you might need to like a guardian. Oh, or if you want, you could drop in 3 obsidian gargoyle. Sorry, golem of devourment.
Yep, Golem of Devourment would be good for stealing units, that's for sure.
No, he's the guardian.
Oh, Devourment. Yeah, okay, yeah, yeah.
You could put in 3 of him. You could drop 1 delayed poison and just go with 1 if you want. Otherwise, I find that risky. And you could put in 1 avarice. He's the one that steals. A little allurement.
Allurement it
Allurement.
steals.
Yeah, 1 allurement. He steals. I mean, what are you really going to steal though? Silver Pawn that you're going to just sacrifice anyhow?
Yeah, maybe.
Unless you
Like,
get it out before turn 4.
denial is still denial. Yeah, I would definitely love to see a list if you have one that you could send me. I'd appreciate that very much. Thank you. Let's see. What's the Cosmic do again? Look at the top 3 cards of your deck, and you may add a dark unit from among them to your hand, send the rest to the discard. Nah, that's
No,
not good
it's
enough for
terrible.
this.
That's a terrible card.
Yeah.
If it put it into play, or if it was like a 2 cost, put it into play, just cut the other 3 or something, just. Oh! Nobi would be a great one to add to that deck.
I like Nobe. Yeah. We can at least consider him.
He'd be good to add because he could attack and poke before you get a chance. He could kill, not the overseer but the inquisitor, so that he plays him, get something back, and you kill it, so he has nothing way to sacrifice to get something back again. And of course, killing the pawns also is nice. Plus, he's a big hitter. I think what is he, 2,500? I think.
For which unit? Nobe?
Nobi, or
Yeah.
the 2,000.
25.
Yeah, so he's a good hitter too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I like Nobe. I've always been a big fan. I play him in all my dark decks.
I don't. I should.
I can put him back in the pile here so I don't lose him.
But yeah, so that'd be the dope package. I would run those 9 cards definitely, and then add 3 more for flavor. Which again are the Yamis, Delayed Poison 2, Silver King, and the
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah,
okay.
I got too many cards.
Well, you have 2 ghostly demises.
Yep.
1 Silver King.
Yep.
3 Yami.
Mhm.
And what else we got there? I can't see because it's too small.
Golem of Allurement, which we could just put back in the.
Yeah, let's put him back right now.
Melanite's Gaze, snipe some spells.
Medial doesn't play a lot of 1 cost or 2 cost spells.
I think the Melanite's Gaze is definitely good for the sideboard though, because if you are playing against something more like a spell-based deck, then you can bring them back in.
Yeah, if you're playing against Jamal or Jillian, then or even something with green in it, because you can get rid of Vabel's Gift.
Yep.
That's definitely a sideboard card, not a main deck.
Let's see. I need to get the Void Flame expulsions.
So do you have your 12 dark cards?
I have more than 12. 1, 2, 5, 8, 11, 13, 14, 15.
Too many. Yeah, too many. All
Yeah.
right.
So what do we put back? We put back Nobe.
Put no bit back, yeah, for right
And
now.
I don't know how I feel about the treats in this deck.
Just two. You don't need three treats.
Right.
You need to get it on turn one or turn two, and then you can pretty much control the game because you'll be able to recycle and keep using the Blaze Walker's abilities by sacrificing them for the Silver King, and then putting them back, then treating them out and sacrificing. You can do it a total of 3 times, and pretty much clears their board up with all the little stuff, so they can't do their win when they want to do it on turn four.
Hey, matey, how's it going, bud?
That's a great name, midget,
Mighty midget, mighty midget.
mighty midget. That's what I was gonna say, but I didn't want to be rude.
He's
I guess
mighty.
Dylan's not coming back, huh?
I don't know. I know he's having a hard time getting his tabletop to run for him.
Mm.
What am I missing in the Iona package? Is that it? Is it this those 4 cards?
Uh,
Keep in mind that I just don't really play this deck, so I don't really
it,
know too well.
it's the Hand of Iona, the Phoenix, the card that you had that's next to the Phoenix there, and there's one other one. Hand of the Phoenix.
All
Uh,
right, so okay, I'm just gonna go down this list right here that was provided by Gumbercules.
Mighty Midget wants to know how you are.
Oh, great, matey. Thanks for popping in. I'm having some fun here, playing some Argent Saga, getting ready for the showcase next week.
You
And
get ready to come in ninth place.
yeah, that's
Oh yeah, aren't there only 8 players?
I'm fine with ninth place. Only 8 players. I come in ninth place. No, actually, we have a. Oh, we should put Destroyosaurus in here. Maybe that's not
Oh,
Destroyosaurus.
there's the package. It's the Hand of Iona, Immortal, Phoenix, and Vengeful, which you have, I think.
Yep. Plus the
And then,
Phoenix.
and then of course, you want to run the 3 arcs, 3 layers, 2 reigns, and 2 of the other Ray.
Reigns.
Ray? No, not Ray. Ray.
Yeah.
The isn't there another
Yeah.
Blazewalker? There's
So
4 of them,
there's
aren't there?
Ray. Here's the Blazewalker Lieutenant Ray. What was the
Yeah,
one you said? So you said Rain? Oh yeah, I gotta get Rain.
but yeah, it's
Oh,
three arcs and
I
three
forgot
layers.
about the big boy.
Yeah, one of him. So it's usually 3-3-2-2-1-1.
Yeah, I don't think that Ray's in the deck. Let's take a look at it real quick. When this card is expelled, you may give target Dragon or Blaze Walker unit quickness. Expel 1 unit from your hand. Expel this card until the start of your next draw phase.
Yeah, no, I made a mistake. It's Rain, not Ray. I
Yep,
apologize.
that's fine. No, all good, all good. I will make a ton of mistakes getting through this because this is again not something I am super directly familiar with. I've played against this deck maybe like 3 or 4 times, so I'm just kind of going off of my own memory too.
But yeah, I think you have a deck there. Now you just need to support it with a little bit of spells and some love, and it could be pretty much
Let's
done.
see. I don't know how I feel about the treats at all in this deck. Do I need them?
I think you do. I mean, because I say you want to treat out um, any one of your 1 cost or 2 cost units just to put the Shadow King into your graveyard when you have when you have 6 Blazewalkers. Because when I was watching people play it, they were using the Nightmare Crystal over. I mean, you have to, of course, watch out for Bone Scavenger because that'll screw you in the end. But even if they exile with Bone Scavenger, you can still get it back. You just gotta make sure you have 7 guys in there. And then the trick is, you wipe the board is you have the Silver King in your discard pile, hopefully, and no Bone Scavenger in play, of course.
Right.
You pay the 7, You exile Leah, Rain, put everything back just about, except for one Leah. Do the damage, wipe the board with 3 creatures. Then you treat the Silver King out, put him in the graveyard, get those 6 guys back, put them in the graveyard, exile them again, wipe the rest of their board, and then you have the 7 drop in play and they have nothing. And then when they start building the board again, on turn 5, you do it again. Even if you attack with Silver King, let him get killed by the fire tower. You discard him. They start building the board. You do the same thing, and then you pretty much lock them down. Not to the point where you're going to win guaranteed, but at least it'll slow them down to like turn 6 or 7
Yeah.
while you're attacking with your other units and destroying their towers because they're trying to build their board. Most medieval decks don't have a lot of guardians. I know I did because, well, I like guardians. I like the block attack.
Who doesn't love Guardians, right?
Well, if you saw my Magimaze deck, I have 11 guardians in my deck.
Yep.
So I don't like being attacked.
I feel like Guardians a lot weaker right now than what we want it to be in general. It's hard to rely on Guardian.
Yeah, well, there's that one light card that really screws guardians up, which
Yeah.
is the equipment when you put it on a guy that can kill a guardian, and then if he kills a guardian, he readies. It's like,
Yeah.
oh, okay. That's why Burgon's War and Burgon himself saved me in a game against the light deck. He had that artifact on him, or that equipment on him, and he would enter the attack step, and I would just exhaust him. It's like, oh, you're exhausted. No more readying, no more attacking. You're done.
Alright, so I think I have my 12 for the darkness here.
And what do we have again for the 12 darkness, just so I can...
We have 2 treats.
Yep.
1 delayed poison.
Okay.
1 shade. 3
Yep.
yamis. 3 devourments. And 2 ghostly demise.
Okay. If you feel it's uncomfortable, I would drop 1 ghostly for a sideboard and put in a second delayed. If
Yep.
you want to change anything up, that's what my only recommendation would be.
Yeah, that sounds pretty fair. Yeah, I like that package. Or what are you two going on about over here? Gregory and Overrun? See. Here's the Gregory. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. Those are spirit pile. Where did the champions pile go?
Oh, you deleted it like 20 minutes ago.
The champion pile? No, I just moved a spirit on top of it. So
What's
this is the fabled Gregory. Gregory, the greatest gardener Gregory. Exhaust, sacrifice a unit, recover 1 of your shards. People are
okay?
actually playing this guy too, and they're having a great time with him. What do you
Okay.
what do you guys use Gregory for? Do
I've
you use
never
it
used
for
it.
darkness decks? Well, you
At the
can't
end,
use it for darkness unless you do Serpio, right? So
yeah, because we have 12 cards.
yeah,
That seems like kind of. I actually, you know what's funny is the raccoon spirit, whatever
yeah,
he is. I've used him. I use him in my light basic deck.
yeah,
And I think it's the raccoon, right? The
yeah.
raccoon.
The strength guy, Dubel.
Yeah, I use him in my basic deck. I have a light deck that has all basic units. You know, no abilities, and I use that as my spirit.
Yep.
That's fun. People are like, what? What the hell does that guy do? It's like nothing important.
Nothing important, you know.
He just makes that guy stronger and beefy and
Yeah, Destroyosaurus is incredible. If I were to play Destroyosaurus, like I could totally do it in the rain package, right? Because you can use the expel ability to damage something and then play a Destroyosaurus. And that seems pretty solid. I wonder if the new copies of this deck played any copies of Destroyosaurus at all. I don't see why it wouldn't.
that GZ and Ruka down there on the bottom.
Yeah, they're just chilling out. They're some copies in case I want to use them.
Oh, pull out the Destroyer Source. Let's see it. Let's see.
Yeah, yeah.
See what he does.
So Destroyosaurus is a 3-drop that says when arrive, destroy target unit that is or destroy target destroyed unit.
Destroy
damage.
destroy unit. What?
Yeah. Hold on.
That makes no sense.
I'm trying to type and do stuff at the same time.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Let's see him blow him up so I can see it. My old eyes can't see that. Okay. You may destroy target. Oh, target damage unit.
Yeah, which in green is fantastic. Which in rain is fantastic.
What's in green? Okay.
Yeah. Which rain?
I don't see that being stupidly useful because most things you're going to be killing, if you're mainly concerned about a Medial deck, the most things you're going to be killing
I'm not.
only have
So
500
I'm not only concerned about Matile deck. There's a ton of other decks out there that are going to be given it a shot this weekend as well. I don't want to play just the Matile. I want to be able to have a match against the deck, but I don't
yeah.
want to be 100% geared against it because you need to be able to
Are
play
all
against
the
other
game.
decks.
Let me ask you this: are all the games going to be 2 of 3?
Yeah,
Then why don't you build a sideboard package that will have some dinosaurs and stuff, and change your dark package to deal damage instead of trying to mitigate stuff,
because
and that way.
the dark package doesn't deal damage; it does shrinks.
No, I'm saying but you can do other things. You can change your package to something different than what it is. For 15 cards, you can find some things that can make more effect for that guy. So instead of having the rain package, which you wouldn't want, not rain, I'm sorry, the Bladewalker package would be useless. But using stuff like Ral Firebomb, dealing damage, and then just go, dink, oh, I dealt damage. I kill you now.
Yeah.
As a sideboard. That way you just switch your whole deck from the Bladewalker package to like a Dino package or something like that.
Right. So the only dino I want is Destroyosaurus, and that's just because I can destroy any size unit
Or you wouldn't want
and give him quickness.
you wouldn't want to have that 1 5 cost one where they can't play stuff.
Um, do you know which one it's called?
I don't, unfortunately. I don't play red a lot. I've seen people using there's a 5 cost one and a 7 cost one. Someone in the chat will know, right? People, anybody? Bueller. Of course, you can always make the deck I was thinking of making, which is using Reckless Shard Beast, dropping down Yuki on your turn,
Yeah.
GZ, destroying your towers, and then play with Arya and flip all your towers back over.
So you don't like Destroyosaurus in the deck?
No,
Why is that? Not you. Not you.
oh, you're talking about Pirate
Yeah.
painting. I think you're thinking along the same thing as I am, because if you use the Bladewalker pack, you're gonna kill most things you're gonna hit with 1 card. I'd have to look it up. God dang. Let me go to and look at my binder. I shall return.
Trying to pull out Mizosian Raptor right now in the deck to see what you guys are talking about.
I tell you that I changed my binders, so I now have a white binder for Argent, and I have a green for green, black for black, blue for blue, red for red, all the cards in them.
Nice.
And with 3 of every card in it, so I know exactly where I have playsets of. With the exception of black, because, black has like 6 of every card, because black's the best color, right? That's what we're saying. That's what we're going with. Black's the best color.
It is. It is. Oh yeah. In treats, I can't forget about in treats. Expel 1 Blazewalker from your deck, then you can add this card, the same name from your deck to your hand. That's solid. Oops. What's that? Mm-mm.
You know what else could be a pretty good card if you're considering running that 1 dino? There's also running the 2 cost Vontorian Bambino. Because when he's ruined, he destroys target unit.
Hold on, I'm having some
Table problems.
yeah, my I must have hit something that changed.
Oh, you changed your perspective. That's what you did.
Yeah.
I think it's P. Either P or T or something like that. If you hit him, there you go. And then you zoom back in. There it is. Huh?
All right, there we go. All right,
Yeah.
we're alive again.
Well, we were still alive. We didn't change that. I don't think we've changed not being alive. Hi, everybody. Hope you guys are having a great day. Hope you're having a good New Year as well. Hopefully, this New Year will be better than crap last year. Ugh.
Indeed. So yeah, I don't know. So I want to know why you think that Destroyosaurus is not, because I think that being able to play a Destroyosaurus after pinging something for 500 damage, to be able to destroy something that you wouldn't be able to normally kill with a couple thousands of points of damage, with your arcs and stuff, you want to be able to generate enough damage to destroy units. But like if you're facing a unit that you can't destroy straight up, because of how big its power is, the Destroyosaurus can take care of that and get an attack in at the same time.
What's the cost of the Destroyosaurus?
3. It only costs 3. So it's a solid unit for 2000 power.
Yeah, no, I was just thinking another one that might be pretty good in there is the Herald of
Oh,
Tyrannosus.
that's the other thing too, is with Yamis you can bring, sorry, not to sidetrack off what you're saying here, but you
Bring
can
them back.
Yami Destroyosaurus back into play.
Yep.
Now, what were you saying, the Tyrannus? You want to play Tyrannus in here?
No, the Hand of Tyrannus, Herald of Tyrannus. He has an revive effect that you may destroy target damaged unit, which is similar effect to what you're trying to do. And then whenever this card destroys an opponent's tower or unit, you may put a dinosaur with a cost of 4 or less from your hand into play. So you could basically play him. Yeah, you play him. After you've done damage, you destroy a unit. Then, because you destroyed a unit, you get to play the 3-drop and put him into play and destroy another unit.
Yeah.
That could be something interesting. Maybe I should build red.
Well, if that's the path that we're going to take, then we would take the path of Rena, right? So if we want to go Dino package, I think that absolutely 100% Rena is the best Dino package deck champion.
The one I was thinking is the Mezonian Raptor. Sorry. He
Yep.
basically neuters the game text on characters. While you have more shards, your opponent control cost 2 or less lose their abilities.
Yep.
And then there's one that has the same thing, but it's 5 or less lose their
Oh,
abilities.
hold on. Wait a minute. You might be onto something here. Let's see. This card costs 1 less to play for each. So maybe that first ability isn't necessarily anything, but the second ability is while you control 5 or more shards, units your opponents control with cost 2 or less lose their abilities. So this will turn off the pawns. The pawns
No,
won't be able to turn.
it'll turn off the recursion ability.
Yeah. So and that's one of the biggest problems with the Met deck is the ability to be able to recur. Bring everything back so that you can just replay it. Even if your opponent kills everything, you can just bring everything back with a couple of pawns, but this shuts that loop down.
Mm-hmm.
You need 5 shards. But listen, if you can stall the game until that turn, if you can stall the game until you shoot with your Serpio, you shoot with your Arc, you make sure that the pawns stay off board, then you can
You could
get to
potentially
turn
do it.
5. You can get to turn 5 with that.
Yeah,
I
there's another one of those dragons that do the same thing, but it's I think it's 5 cost or less. Lose their
Yeah.
abilities as well. So I would play with them both. If you're gonna change your package, then I would suggest changing it and doing that and adding the other guy, the Herald that I mentioned.
Mhm.
keep Serpio and then just change the dark package to something more beneficial for you. So that means you can take out um, the Silver King because you're not going to be running a lot of Blaze Walkers. You don't need the treats. You don't need the Ghostly Demises. A better one instead of Ghostly Demise would be oh my god, which the other black one that deals 1,000 damage?
Hmm?
Not Ghostly Demise. It's the other. It's the other good black card that has stopped being played. It costs 4 to play.
Hoenna's Wrath?
No. Old card. Hang on a minute. Let me get my flash binder out here.
Okay. Let's see. What other things do we play in this deck? So, I mean, like, we already have a ton of cards on the board here, as it is for this deck. Let's just
Debilitating miasma.
debilitating miasma. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that does negative 2,000 to 2 units.
Right, but it's an instacast, which is nice too.
Yep.
And then that way you can also you can use that instead of, I was going to say Dusk Strike, but you're not going to run many units to make that work, so that would be useless.
So, I would be fine with putting GZ to the side. Bambino.
And if you are looking to do damage stuff, Lee, and it's instacast, but you can do it
Yep.
whenever you want. But you can also run Enveloped in Darkness. You just have to make sure you have Yami in your hand so you can get it out and return it to play. The unit, that unit right there, yeah.
What? This guy?
Yeah, the one you just showed. Yeah, because if you have Enveloped in Darkness in play, you play that, give the unit minus 1,000 when it's attacking, and then you switch over Yami, bring in him, and then kill it.
Yeah. Yeah, you could use Serpio with this
Mm-hmm.
in order to be able to rain something and then Serpio the Bambino. And Bambino can crack towers. If Bambino cracks the red tower,
Perfect.
yeah.
If you want to also, if you are worried, another just thought, if you are worried about Medial and you want to do more of a damage dealing deck to play where you're thinking, play with a very Glimmer. You turn his Medial into a 1,000 unit, and then you
Uh,
strip you.
with no
Poof.
abilities.
Yeah,
1,000 unit with no
but,
abilities. But
but only for the
the problem is
only for
that if he's playing the Celestial, it's because he has the loop ready. Like typically they
usually.
won't play the Celestial until they have the loop ready, because um you just don't need it until then, and you can react to anything with it. And every time you activate its abilities, those abilities go on the queue regardless of what you do to the Celestial. So sometimes eliminating the Celestial isn't the best answer, but if you can use the Void Flame Expulsion on it, that's what that's for, right? Because if you
Mhm.
the Void Flame Expulsion, nobody can add to the queue in response. So if they play the Celestial, they can only get one trigger off with the Celestial, and then you can expel him.
Another thought also, Lee, is neutral evil. If you want to slow him down,
Yeah.
I mean, you have to sacrifice a unit too, but you make them sacrifice something which could potentially slow them down a little bit if you're looking to try to go more of a late game. Or you can play with Scales of Darkness, which is the same thing. Sacrifice the unit and they discard a card.
I think I like the darkness package we have right now. I like the
And
fact
well,
that we have a couple of ways to be able to do offering, which will help put Blazewalkers in the expel zone. Um, from the graveyard. So I think that's fun. I think that's a really cool interaction there. I'm gonna go through the rest of these black spells here, see if there's anything else that I can think of. These aren't black spells.
nope,
Oh,
with Argent.
it's so funny. Like for some reason,
You have it stacked on top of each other.
yeah, no, the artworks are coming in on the wrong cards, but when you pull them onto the field, they're the right cards again.
Why is Wicked Pack such a bad card?
Yeah.
I mean, it should let you play a unit, put a unit into play, instead of just put it into your hand. Like you're sacrificing a tower to look at 3 cards and put one into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your deck. Makes no sense why you wouldn't put it into play. I don't think I've ever seen anybody use that card.
Could you
Why?
imagine playing Unrestrained Poltergeist in a Gemiel Serpio list where you can use like Serpio and like return units to the top of your opponent's deck, and then you use Serpio and you sacrifice Unrestrained Poltergeist in order to send the top
Mill.
three cards of um of a player's discard deck to the discard zone, and then a different player expels the top three cards of their deck. So you
Mm-hmm.
could expel the top three cards of your opponent's deck after putting something on top of your opponent's deck with Jamil's spells. That would
I,
be
I,
quite the loop. It would be so weird to do that, but
I was doing it with Hoenna and Tux.
hmm
I would ASB them, put one in their hand, one on back, and then I would drop down the Unrestrained Poltergeist and.
yep.
I love the Unrestrained Poltergeist.
ASB a unit to the top of their deck and then expel it.
Yep. I'm sorry, did you want that unit in play? You don't need
That's,
that Mr. Kims anymore, do you?
that
No?
seems like a
Okay, we're
lot of
good.
work.
Well, you expel 3 cards, you don't just expel one.
And then you could also, in this deck, you could use Unrestrained Poltergeist too, and expel your own top of your deck to hit
Yeah,
these.
but you got to be careful, though, if you do it on yourself, because well, you needed
Yeah,
Silver King, but since we're changing the package, if you not change the package,
right.
you need to make sure Silver King's in your KO pile before you start expelling stuff off the top of your own deck. Or else you're going to screw yourself, because if you expel the Silver King, it's like, oh, well, all right, that was fun. Good game. Are you using Nightmare Crystal as well?
Nightmare Crystal. I probably put it in the deck just because, in case I want the option.
Yeah. I was watching someone play yesterday. He was running Serpio, Rain, and he was using it. He used it every turn. He was using it twice a turn, milling himself 2 cards. It worked well. It worked well for him. I was watching him do it.
Yeah,
Might be a viable thought to put at least 2 of them in, not necessarily 3.
yeah. Well, I mean, Unrestrained Poltergeist might have some genuine application depending on the situation. It might actually be a legitimate sideboard card, to tell you the truth. I think that it all just comes down to how you set it up and whether or not it's expected.
Yeah, I don't think anyone ever expects to get top 3 cards of their own deck
Yeah.
expelled. Yeah, I also in my deck was a milling deck as well, so I was using that to help mill my opponent too. And putting my stuff in the graveyard, I was like, okay, cool. I'll just Omega it back out, or Revival of the Sun, or something, put it into play. You just can't play with a lot of spells. That's the only problem, because if you lose spells, it's like, well, I guess that's where certain cards come in handy that look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Like, okay, I don't mind losing those 3.
Yeah, exactly, Penny. Just if you accidentally like hit two Celestials off the top of your opponent's Met deck, or even just one, just like any number of them. um,
Hitting 1 is huge. Hitting 2 would be amazing.
yeah, because then it doubles up on your Void Flame expulsions as well, so that way you have additional means of being able to expel your opponent's units. I like. I think that we kind of need more ways to expel opponent's units in this game, just because we need to be able to deal with those kinds of problems. Let's see what else is in here. Oh yeah, Gaze. Gaze is great.
It's a good sideboard card.
Oh,
If it got rid of 1-drops and creatures instead of just spells, it'd be a better card.
yes, I agree.
But the fact that it only gets rid of spells is, I don't think it's that main decky. I think it's definitely sideboard. There's about 60 cards in the main deck right now.
Yeah.
We're looking, trying to get it down to 40, 42, 43
Well,
maybe at most.
so I haven't even added any Argent stuff yet either. Like, keep in mind that I need to put some Argent stuff in here, like Bone Scavenger, because
You
Bones.
don't need to put Bone Scavenger in.
Oh, come on now. It's this is a deck that relies on expelling stuff. If you use your Bone Scavenger to expel your own stuff most of the time in order to get those effects.
Yeah, well, most people don't expel their own stuff, though, and you know that as well as I do.
No, in a rain deck you do though. It's absolutely a legitimate thing. It's part
Oh
of the
no, I know it's
package.
legitimate.
Yeah.
Are you gonna put an Argent egg in too?
20. And so right now we are at 49, which is obviously too much.
What about Lloyd?
No, we don't have enough. I like as much as I would love to be able to tuck expulsion under a Lloyd. It costs 4, so it costs too much to play. It's too slow in this deck. It takes up room that we don't have room for.
Yeah, I have Lloyd in my Magic Maze deck. I might take him out.
All
I've
right,
had him in my hand many games. I'm like, I'm not gonna play this guy. It's like I only need that one yellow card once, and I win the game. I don't need to have so
let's see. What other we'll go down through the Argent cards here.
Celestial Harpist and oh
Celestial
wait,
what?
no, I was joking. Celestial Harpist and
Yeah.
Hallowed Harpist because they know how much you love your Guardians. Oh, you know it would totally f up a Medial deck. I just realized it.
What?
The Hoken amulet.
Yeah.
It'd mess you up well. Actually, no, it wouldn't mess you up because you're not retrieving from your graveyard. You're exiling from your graveyard.
Alright, so neither player can target cards in discard zones. Neither player can activate the abilities of cards in discard zones. So this would definitely hamper me.
Would it? Because you're not activating cards from the discard zone. You're
Yeah.
exiling them and activating them in exile.
So a lot of stuff definitely is activated in. Let's see, so
No, well, none of the Blazewalker stuff. I don't think. I mean, you'd have to ask Damien on that one. I'm curious. You would lose a little bit of effect from certain cards that target the discard pile and bring them back. Yami would be useless.
yeah. I mean, if I was gonna bring the amulets, in, I'd probably take Yami out.
Yeah.
But
And,
like,
or drop Yami down to like 1 or 2, and just in case you get it before you get the amulet.
um, Prinny, that doesn't really help me out too much. I haven't really played Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, I haven't played Yu-Gi-Oh either.
Necro Valley.
I guess that would shut off Silver King too, because you're actually targeting cards in the
Yes.
graveyard to exile them.
Offering ability is targeting, so it would shut off Ghostly
Yeah,
Demise. It would shut off offering for
true.
Upshade.
But I tell you though, I would. I mean, you could change your deck a little bit for the sideboard and definitely put a note in your sideboard along with the Hoken Archaeologist, so you can get it, and that'll shut a Medial deck right off.
The Hand of Rayona. At the start of your draw phase, if this card is in your discard zone because of its own ability, you may put it into play. So this would
Yeah,
still be activating an ability.
yeah. You shut off like 7 or 8 cards in your deck.
Yeah.
Which again, if you change your sideboard package,
hmm
if it's only if you fight a Medial deck, you could totally shut down a Medial deck with that card.
Yeah, but they hedge against that though too.
There's nothing in the Medial deck that can destroy it unless they play with Acid Monger. And
Yeah.
most Medial decks don't use Acid Monger.
Yes, they do. It's an Argent card. They can just keep looping it back.
Yeah, but they can't. They have to get rid of the Hoken Archaeologist first.
Yes, which is
Huh?
fine. They have ways that they can do that.
Really? I didn't see those ways. I didn't use them in my deck. I guess. Probably why
Well,
I'm a bad. Probably why I'm a bad player then.
it's not targeting, but it is activating.
You look tired.
I'm not tired.
I am. I'm old.
Neither player can activate the abilities of cards. So is it activating or is it triggering? So technically, hand might actually be triggering and not activating.
Can you
Hmm.
blow it up a little more? What'd you say? Just because it's code from me. Yeah, destroyed.
So hand might bypass the amulet. We'd want to get an official ruling on that before relying on it, but I think that it might work.
It might, yeah. But yeah, that amulet would shut down a lot of decks.
Yeah.
That's why I hate it. That's why I'll never use it in black. Or if I ever play a black deck, something black.
hmm
but I have used it. I did use it in my
Well,
Imaginate's deck because I don't target my graveyard with anything.
so pretty the ruin abilities are kind of a different thing altogether, right? So they aren't something that's happening because the unit's in the graveyard. It's something that happens while it's on the field. It goes to the graveyard. Yeah, triggered abilities. Thank you, Damien.
Oh, that's Damien.
Yep. Yeah, subject
Hi,
visitor.
Damien.
A subject visitor is our buddy Damien.
What's up, Damien? It's Cat. How you doing, man?
So that's good to know. Hand would bypass it. So triggered abilities will still work under Amulet, but activated abilities, things you have to actually activate by paying a cost to get an effect or whatever, would work. Also, I think does Rainless run Repro Bloom too? I think they do.
I never saw him in the decks.
Well, so it's easy because you can expel an arc to shoot an opponent's unit. Use the rain of expel ability to target Repro Bloom and do 500 damage to Repro Bloom, creating two tokens at the same time.
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure it's a core part of the package.
I've seen it in packages. I don't think I've seen it in the Blazewalker Silver
It
King package. It
it's
could be though.
it's part of the rain package. What else though? Let's see. Gotta make sure that we consider all the cards before we
Oh,
start eliminating.
eccentric visitor.
Yep, I got one here to the side.
Uh,
I think that as much as I want to stuff this guy in the deck at all times, I might not have enough room in this
there's a
deck.
lot of cards we want to stuff in all of our decks all the time.
Yeah, like this the robot dragon.
Now get off that. You love those Shroud War things.
No, just the Shardwork dragon because it
Whatever.
has quickness for 3.
All right. Okay. Leave it there.
Yeah, yeah.
You should play with the Omega Charger. He's totally useful.
With who?
Omega Charger.
Omega Charger.
I'm kidding. He's useless in this
Oh
deck.
yeah. Where
He's the one that lets you put something under an Omega effect card.
Okay, yeah, you can put something underneath it. Yeah. I have
Yeah.
arcs. I have arc soaring in here. Hound, yeah, I like Shardwork Hound as well. Not in this deck, of course, but definitely a solid card. Plus, like if you're playing against rain decks, then it's a little bit harder to beat up.
Yeah. Plus, in this deck, you really need to keep your resources either up for something to play or down to play everything you can. So you're
Yeah,
sort of limited unless you have the one card that you play animate
the heart.
-2, which
Yeah,
that now you're playing with 6 extra cards, in your deck instead of only 3.
yeah, pretty. So the Shardwork Heart is a gear. So
When you're not playing Liam, so it's
it says the equipped unit ignores animate. So you can, it's a zero cost gear, and if you're playing like a Liam deck, like you could go galore with the Shardwork Heart slash
yeah,
animate units. One of it being the Arbiter, the Shardwork Arbiter, which is absolutely insane.
nuts. So good. Yeah.
And
No, the-
then you could also put in a package of the hounds and the dragons to accompany it. I wouldn't go deeper than that in the Shardwork package though myself.
I would put in one of the Brawler one. I like
The
him.
brawler one, yeah.
Yeah. It's just nice to. He's unexpected because no one ever expects to see the Brawler come down because he's like, no one ever use him.
The Shardwork
Well,
Knight. Yep.
yeah.
So he's got
I mean,
brawler and guardian, which is awesome,
yeah,
and he's got 3,000 power, but
that's
animate
why.
too. But if
Well, you drop him and then drop
the heart, yeah,
yeah, you got the heart on him. It's okay, whatever. Now it's a 3,000 Brawler that comes into play.
yes,
And then if you need be, or if you're playing mono light, you have solo. I Brawler, I kill it. Guardian, I ready him. So, but that's great for a Brawler package.
I don't think I
Uh,
need any other Argent cards from here. Right now I
and,
have Bone Scavenger and Repro Bloom, and that's a lot.
and visited possibly.
Yeah,
Um, That's a good question. I'm not sure if you can you equip the heart in the brawler Q.
Um,
I would only
so
assume it.
there is no brawler queue. It's
You,
it just has the ability
you just declare a
automatically. You
brawler.
just can't
Yeah.
animate. Just simply has brawler
Yeah, and then you just use the brawler ability when you equip them after you equip them with the heart, and then you
because
equip.
brawler won't activate until you go to attack, and you have to pay the animate cost in order to attack. So if you could put the heart on it during your main phase, that's when you're gonna want to do it anyways. You're gonna want to equip it in the main phase and then go to combat and attack with it.
And there you go. But all right. Well,
So
it was fun building a deck with you, bud. I'm
hop
gonna
hopping
take
off.
off.
Okay.
Yeah, I got some stuff I got to do, and that and janky things, and have fun.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay.
why? What are you confused about, Franny? So basically, you play the unit, you then play, and then you go to your attack step with a unit, and then you declare brawler, and then the brawler goes off. Basically, it's the fastest way to
It's an activated ability.
no, it's an attack ability.
Yeah, yeah, it's activated. Like Guardian is an activated ability.
Yeah,
Target attack is an activated ability.
yeah. So you basically just exhaust them as if you were going to attack, but
Yeah.
you don't attack. You declare brawler, and then
Yeah.
because brawler is like quickness, but only for attacking units. You can't attack with the unit. You can't attack a tower with a character that has a brawler.
Right.
That's what quickness is for. So imagine brawler as quickness and quickness for units only. I guess that's the layman's terms of explaining it. But yeah, so I'm gonna take off, man. It was fun. We'll do this again. Let's
Yep.
get with that other event that we talked about before. Remember?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
We'll talk about that. Do you remember what it was?
No.
Starts with a P, ends in a T.
Part.
Has a few more letters in it than poet. Thank you. Podcast.
Podcast. Okay. Yeah, we'll
Yeah.
work on that sometime. We
All
need
right.
to figure it out. I want to get some content ready for it, and we need to figure out how to do the recording and the setting up of the voiceovers and stuff. I
No,
have my hands my plate is absolutely crazy
no,
full. So
no, it's not. Never
oh,
full.
never full. No, just
Right.
overflowing.
Well, I didn't say about that. I said it's never full.
uh,
But okay,
Thank you
Trini.
for hanging out with us. I really appreciate it, Kat.
Yeah, it's fun. Trini, thanks for the questions. Damien, have a great day, guys, and I will catch you all later.
See you, Kat.
Ciao.
Yeah, the Shardwork deck would be really fun to play. I have considered building it myself as well. I want to build it with Arbiter. I would build it with Liam, I think, just so that I can get the gear, or a server mini deck because you can get any gear that you want with the server mini, I think. So there's a couple of ways that you could build it and play with it. But now, all right, so we got to trim down some cards here, right? So what's in this pile? We have the expulsions, which we can't cut, and we have the dinosaurs. How many dinosaurs do we want to play of each of these? We have the Rizosian Raptor, which is going to be able to shut off the pawns. Maybe I put that in the sideboard and bring them in against Met to help shore up the the matchup afterwards. We'll put those in the sideboard for now because we got to make some space. I like Destroyosaurus because having a way to be able to use quickness. Yeah, exactly. The Raptor's situational, and I want to bring it in against specifically those situations I want to use them against. It would also turn off Nova Knight. That's another point, though. Yeah, because I want to be able to attack too. Like I can't just sit back on the whole expelling circle and just like not do anything else. I want to be able to get combats in too. And so the Destroyosaurus is really good. And I can bring them back with the Yamis. So maybe I only need 2 copies and put the third one in the sideboard. So let's reduce that there. The Rayona package. I think I need all of those cards for the Rayona package. Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Can use the Rayona, use the Destroyosaurus to attack another unit as well. Let's see. So the princess, how many of the princesses do they play? I don't think we play all 4 princesses. I think we play 1 princess. You think 1 immortal? I was thinking 2 immortals. What do you think, 1 or 2? In one hand. Where's the hands? Where are the hands? Where did I put the hands? Because you can search up the princess with the other abilities. Where did I put the hands? Oh no, did I not put the hands in here? Did I put the hands in this side? In this side? Ah, I did. My bad. I put them in the wrong pile. Let's see what this defender do. Discard this card from your hand, destroy target unit you control, and if you do this turn, Rayona units you control cost 2 less to play. Yeah, we don't play that. We don't play the defender. Definitely not. Good call there. And you said maybe cut a hand. Discard this card from your hand, destroy target unit you control, and if you do, search your deck for a Rayona unit and add it to your hand. At the start of your draw phase, if this card is in your discard zone because of its own ability, you may put this card into play. I don't like that you have to destroy your own units to get it off. I agree that we can cut that down by 1. That should be good enough. Destroy target non-token unit you control, and if you do, deal 1500 damage to target unit your opponent controls. This at least has an ability that actually looks really good. Like if you're gonna destroy your own units or something, being able to destroy one of your opponent's units and then bring this guy back, that's solid. Do we even need the hands at all? I mean, they are still a cheap unit that you can put on the board. Yeah. All right. Let's see. 8. So we have 20 and 18. So 41, 44. We are at 44 cards now. Bone Scavenger. I think we do use Bone Scavenger for 2 reasons. One, it helps with opposing Metile decks, and 2, it helps generate our own engine, and it helps create problems for some other decks as well. I think we definitely use Bone Scavenger, although it is at odds with the offering abilities that we run in the deck. But I think we still run it. And I think Repro Bloom, we still try to run Repro Bloom. Just because of how explosive it is. But maybe we don't. Which sounds weird. But maybe we don't run Repro Bloom in this deck. Yeah, it doesn't fit as well. It definitely feels a lot more like a sit back and cycle your units throughout the expel loop. I think we put this in the sideboard. Let's put Repro in the sideboard. Because we can bring that in when we need to be more explosive. Yeah. Alright, so I think we're at 41 here. All right, we got 20, 21, 41 solid. I like it. I've always been a fan of heavy decks, anyways. The whole thing with the variance in in this game, right? So in a lot of other card games, we talk about variance and we talk about reducing variance in order to increase opportunity to play. Yeah, I agree. Playing the repro right now would make us slow us down on the rest of what we're trying to do with this deck. Towers and shards. What towers would we want? Tower of Gusts? No. Glimmers? No. Waters? No. Embers. Embers might be good. I think we run Embers. Water, darkness, air, light. I think those are the five we use. And we use Embers just because we have a spread of damage that we can do. So being able to use Embers in order to help increase the spread is useful in a lot of ways. Surging Darkness. Surging Darkness is not the worst. I mean, the only thing that I would say about it is it's a tricky situation and it's a gamble. I would say that if you can get this going, and if you actually can hit a unit from your graveyard, it's really great. But if you don't hit a unit because maybe you destroyed more of your opponent's towers, then it feels bad. And sometimes making your opponent discard a specific card is really nice. Well, we totally could. Not even for the memes. I mean, so worst side, you don't get anything. Best side, you get a 3-drop unit from your graveyard. Worst, like the worst side is you could get something, but there's nothing in your graveyard to get. Yeah, which will help us against opposing. Um, yeah. So then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I am actually a big person who likes to use one Zephyr Crystal. I use the Zephyr Crystals in order to help me get through interaction that I can't interrupt. Like if I need to deal with the Maze deck, or if I need to deal, which would be stupid. I would hate to lose against the Maze deck, and apparently Cat has one that's really good right now. Um, but I don't want to be able to be stuck underneath a warding amulet that's targeting my own stuff, and I don't want to be able to, I want to be able to have outs to that. So I do typically run one Zephyr Crystal. It does. It does for sure. At the wrong time. So it doesn't always suck. It just sucks when it hits it at the wrong time. Woo! Sorry about that. I think we have a deck list, guys. This is a Serpio list, anyways. I like it. I think it's a solid list. I do think it has a really strong chance against Mateo. Oops. Save. And it can take on aggro decks, which is huge. Alright, so I have that pile there. So the sideboard. Do we bother with a subject visitor in the sideboard? We have 3 copies of Repro Bloom. Speaking of which, I want to make sure that there's Repro Blooms in the pile over here. There we go. I don't know about the spider in this deck. I don't think that fits. We would put 2 amulets in the sideboard, 3 Repro Bloom, 1 Destroyosaurus, and these 2 Mizosian Raptors. I like the Raptors a lot. I think that's a really cool plan. Yeah, exactly. In this deck. Yeah. Listoli, get that deck up, man. You do you have a are you playing Matile? Do you have a Matile deck built in tabletop? You do, Prinny? You want to play? Oh, okay. Yeah. So the other 2 decks that I want to build today are Hoenna Ursitovis and Gemiel Kite. Gemiel Kite is a deck that I played with for the first 3 championships, and I really love the interaction. The ability to have multiple things that put things on the top or bottom of your opponent's deck is really fun and a very solid answer to a lot of things. The problem, though, with it that I'm considering is that it might not be good enough against Matile just because of how slow it's going to be. With a Jamil Kite deck, typically you curve out when all 5 of your towers are destroyed, and that's when you gain control of the game and you start turning it over from there. Um, so if you're waiting for that point and you're setting up your resources and getting everything squared away and protecting yourself from being attacked, going against a combo deck isn't going to work very well. Exactly, it's about the time. And if you're not stopping them by turn 4, if you don't have any interaction with them until after turn 4, then you're gone. It's too late. Because I can't get to a turn 6 chronostasis, hold a chronostasis, and wait for them to play a Celestial. Hoenn Ursatovus is another one that I'm looking at. The Ursatovus would give me the package, or would give me the option to be able to get into the Expulsions package and the Rayona package. Then I could play the Phoenixes, and I could play the Rayonas and the Expulsions and have answers to my opponents having, units on the board like that. Yeah, Rain Tux. Rain Tux seems like a pretty weird idea. Maybe 2 GZs. I like I like blue and red together. Um, that's another thing that I've been thinking about is maybe like a um, maybe a Jillian Corona deck or something like that, or maybe Ursatovis, and maybe just like making a straight up burn deck. But I don't think that I could do it better than Rain could do it. I know why you're doing Rain with Tux is because you get access to a lot of the damage spells, like Phantasmal Storm and what's the other one? The Bolt, Phantasmal Bolt. If you wanted to use it, it creates a really cool burn deck. and that can always be fun. But if your opponent can get protection against being targeted, then it kind of gets really bad. But then you can stun them. I like Bolt. I think it's pretty good. I probably would not run it main either. There's so many other spells I'd want to play. You know, like ASBs, Mizus, and Chronostasis, and a bunch of other stuff would be really nice. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Alright, I need 4 more cards for my sideboard. What would I sideboard in this deck? Ashborn Sprite. Whenever your opponent plays a spell or uses an activated ability, you may reveal this card from your hand. I love the Ashborn Sprite. Void Fire Elemental. Oh, maybe that one wasn't the right one. Place on one or more of your fire units. Arrive, destroy any number of target units your opponent controls whose combined power is 3,000 or less. I don't know. I don't like that. Yeah, like it's nice to have a free sprite come down. I want to build a light fire deck that uses both Ashborn sprites and Yukis at the same time. Yeah, yeah, Sal, I'm winning. Ooh, Whelp Spark. Actually, Whelp Spark, guys. That's gonna be a good one for the sideboard in this deck. It's a free spell that could do damage to something. That way I can also use my Destroyer sources to better effect. Yeah, Voidfire Dragon. While there is a destroyed fire tower, expel 2 or more fire units from your hand whose combined cost is at least 6. Put this card from your discard zone into play. Expel it when it leaves the field. Ruined. Add target expelled fire unit you own, except Void Fire Dragon, to your hand. That's alright. That's pretty good. You don't think so? You can get back an arc from the expel zone with it, and then re-expel the arc again. Do 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 do. My headset turned off on me. There we go. The Whelp Spark. That seems fun. Like, it's too bad that Crystal Dimensional Dragon specifically says water spells. Alright, so let's see. What do we got? How many cards we got here? Instead of counting, I just pile them up. 16. I got 16 cards in the... We could take that Void Fire Dragon back out, probably. It doesn't really do a whole lot. Yeah, because Pawn's 500, right? Pawn has a 500 toughness. Yeah, there it is. 500 toughness. I like Pawn. That's a good idea. I like Whelp. So, a tip for anybody listening in, tabletop simulator tip: when you go to build your sideboard, save your sideboard as a separate item. That way, when you drop in your deck, you're not dropping in your sideboard too. Also, when you save um, your decks and your items and your piles as objects, remember that whatever face up or face down orientation that you saved them in is how they'll appear when you drop them down on the field. Row Firebomb. Yeah, there's some of the spells actually that we could consider. There's the Row Firebomb. There's the Phoenix one. Flame Strike. There we go. What does the Underworld do? As an additional cost to play this card, you may sacrifice a fire unit with cost 2 or more, and if you do, this card costs 2 less to play. If you paid an additional cost to pay this card gains quickness. I like that card. I think it's better in Rena because you just want to be able to keep attacking and attacking. But that being said, you could play something like a hand that costs 2 and then use this to attack again or something. It's not bad. Flame Strike. If you control a Rayona unit, this card costs 1 less to play. Deal 1000 damage to all units your opponent controls, which could be pretty good. Yeah, yeah, exactly. This deck doesn't have that early board. The Underlord is definitely a solid card, though. I like it a lot. But like you said, it's not fitting this package very well. We could play Voidfire Desolation to give Met a taste of their own medicine. Expel one. Oh yeah, they're playing Panzer too, aren't they? Dang it! Expel one fire unit from your hand. Return this card to your hand from the expelled zone. Arrive. Add target expelled fire unit to your hand. I think they're playing Panzer, but I don't know if I like it. It is real steep. But you don't play it though. You just expel it with rain. You expel this guy with rain to do your 500 shot, and then expel another fire unit from your hand, say your arc, to put him back in your hand and get the arc cost. That way you did what is the gain though? Why do that? Why bother with that loop? What is it? What am I missing? I'm missing something. I don't think you are ever actually supposed to play this card. I think he's just part of the loop for Rain. We'll keep it in mind for future, but I don't really know too much what it's supposed to do right now. What do you guys feel about Blaze Striker Dive? Yeah, there's a lot of good cards in the game right now. Put into play one Blaze Walker unit you own from your hand or that is a spell with cost X, and if you do, deal X damage equal to its power. Yeah, it doesn't target your hand, it doesn't target the expelled zone, and it doesn't target the unit in front of it. That's a really solid point. I didn't even think about that in that way. Oh, that's a really valid point. Deal damage equal to its power. Yeah, that's really solid. I think we might have to do that. We might have to check into that. 1500 damage to target unit and 1000 to each adjacent unit. And then the Flame Strike. I think I like the Flame Strike over the Row Fire Bomb. Again, this doesn't target, and this will clear out the entire board. This Flame Strike actually might be better than Blaze Striker Dive, but Blaze Striker Dive brings the unit into field as well from the expel zone. So they both have their different uses and their different purposes that I like. But I think I like the Flame Strike better than the Fire Bomb. Yeah, run 1 and 1, and we'll put this guy back for now. So I would bring these two in against Bloom decks. What do I take out? Do I take out? What is that guy doing in there? We'll take him out. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about Visitor in this deck. Like, I would love to use it, but I just don't know how effective it is. I also might take out a GZ. I've never been a big fan of GZ, but yeah, okay, yeah. So the same mindset there. So we'll take out all three. We'll take out three cards, right? We'll take out the two GZs and that card, and we'll put in two dives and one strike. Yeah, yeah, the Yami will get them. How many of each? I think two dives and one flame strike. Maybe two flame strikes. I think dive is better. You think so? I mean, and against their tile, it's still good too because it takes out all of their pawns. Alright, looks like I got a 15. Well, which do you think is better? Do you think dive's better, or do you think like which one has more application? Because I like dive because you can put another unit into play on your side so that you can have a unit in order to do combat with. That's why I like this guy, is because it helps advance my board state. Whereas the Phoenix Flamestrike might help take my opponent's board state down. Yeah, I think that they're both really good. I think they're both solid. And having a Phoenix Flamestrike against Bloom is incredible because you can use rain, target Bloom, load up the board, and then you can do that for free, and then you can Phoenix Flame Strike finish it off. Yeah, Right, and I could double up with Serpio. I can play Phoenix Flame Strike and Serpio and do 2,000 damage to board. But yeah, I should be. But there's some big stuff out there, and having something that can kill 5 things is really important. I honestly think that either or, like, I don't think that either one would be a wrong answer. The question is just which one do we do? I don't think that there's a wrong answer. If we play Hoken Warding Amulet, I would play 2 copies, just because I would want to get the consistency of it. I might also cut the amulets altogether. So here's the other thing too: is when we sideboard, what do we take out in order to put these cards in? We haven't put any darkness cards in our sideboard either. I think we should consider it, taking a look at the darkness package. But I don't know what we would put in the darkness package in that we didn't already consider. I honestly don't think that we have a lot of. We were considering the poltergeist, yes. I don't know if it's right though. Like, it's fun, but I don't know if it's right. Just because of the amount of setup that it's going to take in order to be able to get that. And he's not a very substantial unit on his own. Yeah, Gaze. Gaze was a card that we wanted to consider. Look at your opponent's hand. You may choose a non-unit card from among them with cost 2 or less. Your opponent discards that card. So I know that Matile uses this card against us because they want to take out our Flame Strike our expulsions. They want to get rid of our expulsion. This way they can play a safe Celestial. This is what they do against us. But what do we do with this? So you think this would be good against Gillian? Yeah. Which of course it would. But well, I'm not too concerned about Gillian just because it's not a mainstream meta deck. Now it is a strong deck and it's very important, and I know that if somebody plays it, it's going to come down hard. If it can get past Matile. This is a fun guy right here. And he's a dragon. How cool is this? He's a dragon. Enforcer of the Twisting Abyss is a dragon. That's awkward. Whenever this card deals damage to an opponent's tower, your opponent discards a card. And you draw a card. I just realized that my music wasn't playing. Here we go. Yeah. Let me see, just down the list here. I don't really see much else. Maybe, what's the Arbiter do again? As additional cost to play this card, blah blah blah. Units you control gain Destroyer, and ignore the effects of your opponent's Dark Tower. Okay, that's solid. So Kat also mentioned a very Glamour. So target unit loses all abilities and becomes a 1000 power Darkness unit, which would put us in range of shooting with an arc. So if your opponent plays something that's really strong and powerful, you can bring it back down to where it needs to be in order to kill it. Yeah, basically it's spot removal. It has to be a 2-for-1. But in this engine, it should be okay. Yeah, alright, yeah. Doing, like, if you glamour an Omega unit, then you're getting a lot of value. So, now we have to figure out where everything's got to go again. So these two can go back in the pile over here. So I think, yeah, I don't know if they play the interdimensional witch. Somebody go get Wyatt. Wyatt, how do we beat your deck? I'll see if he's on. Let's go Wyatt. Do 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 do. Yeah, question away. So the question is the speed of game, the gameplay, and beginning of the when we first started Argent Saga, the towers being such an oppositional force in and of themselves really slowed games down and pushed them out into the long game, and you could not play a very fast, very aggro type of game. You're talking about games that would last an hour per game very easily, and it's been very difficult in order to get from that point to where it's at right now, where things are so fast that you're playing decks that are winning on turn 4 or 5 or 6 instead of like turn like 12 or something like that sort of nature. That's what they've wanted to do with the game for a very long time. They've wanted to push it to that faster pace of gameplay, and they have gotten it there. But what I think is that it really takes a lot of other champions and spirits and takes them out of the game completely. Like Jamio hasn't really been seeing a whole lot of play because he's a control deck, and I think that we need a little bit more control based kind of cards in order to get to that point. Um, which is funny to say because there's just so many of them out there right now as it is. I am both a fan of a faster play, but also it goes against my play style because I'm a tempo player. I like to play at a tempo speed where I'm gaining value at incremental paces and controlling the board state and not taking a lot of heavy losses and a lot of heavy hits in one go. I want to be able to control the pace of the game and lengthen the game to get it to a point where I can beat that curve, start beating their hand, and then take over the game. That's my style of play. That's how I like to play. So for me personally, it makes it a lot harder to play that style. And now I'm having to play styles that I'm not as comfortable with, like aggro. I've never been a big fan of aggro strategies. I've never been a fan of the all-in strategy. You either do or die. And so right now, I feel like there's not a very strong spot for tempo in this game as much as there was before. Yeah, so, and Mateo is a combo deck. Liam is an aggro deck. So there's also add to that list mid-range, because Hoenna would be probably more mid-range at times. Um, yeah, absolutely. Hoenna is my so Jamil is my favorite champion, and Hoenna is my second favorite champion. And then Eaton is my third favorite champion. And then Hanzo. If anybody's out there wondering. I love the value of Hoenna. I love just the ability to be able to play games and attack your opponent's units in order to control the board while incrementally increasing your value and your counters and getting things to a point where you can just drop a bunch of units and swarm at different various points. I love Hanzo. So when talking about the differences between the blue um, champions, we have Gillian, we have Jamil, and we have Hanzo. Talking about the differences between them is Gillian is more spell oriented. You want to build a solid control core of spells with that deck, that you have a few creatures that you protect. It's very much a control deck. And where Gemiel is more of a tempo deck kind of card because it relies more on your units. So you need to have strong early game units that you can just drop into the field, build up those reactionary counters on Gemiel. That way when you need to dig for an answer, you can be like, okay, I'm going to draw 2 cards, bin 1, draw 2 cards, bin 1. I've had like up to 20 counters or so on Jamil before in one game. Like, just, that's how crazy that was. And been able to draw that many cards. So, the difference between Jamil and Hanzo, which are both unit-based champions, is that the ability to be able to dig through your deck, dig deep into your deck with Jamil versus the have a pile of answers tucked underneath Hanzo where you can react to your opponent by taking a specific answer from that list and putting it on top of your deck. But you have to be able to draw that card, so that's the drawback from that, right? So you got to be able to have a way to draw that answer that you put on top of your deck in order to then use it, which means you have to use a lot of shards, you have to use a lot of abilities to be able to draw the top card of your deck. So in both Jamil and Hanzo, I really like Mr. Kins. Mr. Kins helps both of those engines a lot. Yeah, Gumbercule, that's one of the reasons why I like Tempo, is because you can switch between holding back and playing defensively to turning around on a pivot point and attacking, and that's one of my favorite points about Hoenna. Hoenna is probably one of those best pivot champions because she can go from control your board, attack your units, kill your stuff, to and board wiping, to oh hey, now I have an army of golems that I'm going to just swarm your board with. Yeah, Mr. Kins is my absolute favorite. Every time I play Mr. Kins on the field, I always, my opponent's reaction is hysterical. I love it. I don't know why Mr. Kins is so annoying for people. I mean, I just fix the top card of my deck and draw random answers all the time. There's nothing wrong with that. Too much. Here we go, right here. So, we gotta get some copies of these. It is very consistent. And it's really strong with Gemio. In a Hanzo game that I played against dragons, sorry, against not dragons, dinos. I played against dinos against one of my local friends, and I had one turn that I drew between Hanzo tucking cards underneath him and me drawing cards. I went through over 20 cards out of my deck in one turn in playing Hanzo. So I mean, there's both decks have incredible draw power and ability to be able to get to your answers. So I like them both, and I like the stun mechanic a lot too. When I play, thanks, son. When I play Hanzo, I don't play penguins galore, right? I play selective penguins plus my accompanying control and tempo cards and other cards that go well with the deck. I don't feel like all of the penguins are very good, but a lot of them are, and there's enough of them that I can build a solid penguin core that I still get the ability to be able to tuck and draw the extra card from the tuck rather. Right. So Hanzo's ability is great, and I use it at various times. You can use it on your opponent's turn as well. So like I said, it's a really good way to be able to store answers and just be able to put answers underneath him or save cards for later, right? So if you're playing against like a discard deck and you're like, I really want to keep this. Yeah, it is. I play with one copy of Decree, like, 'cause that's all you really need. All you need to do is just see it once and get it to the graveyard, and then you can just keep re-looping it. I wouldn't mind bumping it up to 2, I just don't have a lot of room for it. Alright, what do you guys think here? Do I take out... I think I take the amulets out. And then I just go to some copies of these. 12 cards. I need 3 copies. I could take out a Whelp Spark too. Yeah. How many copies of Gaze do we want to run? 1 amulet, yeah. You think 3? We're at 15 cards here. I like the Mizosian Raptor still. I think it does have a lot of applications out there. It also turns off Repro Blooms too. And he's also a Yami target. Do we want a copy of Glamour somehow, somewhere? We have one delayed poison in the main. So Ergon is still playable. I know a guy who's actually kind of in the chat room right now, in and out, who plays Ergon and says that he still does very well with it. He says that bonus scavenger is not enough to turn off his plans. Welcome back, man. Glad you're back. So we're finishing up this Ray and Serpio deck here, and we're talking about all sorts of random, crazy, cool stuff. I'm the guy. It's me. I'm the guy. Yeah. So why don't you tell them about your Ergon deck if you would like to? I could take out a copy of. I love how you like, yeah. It's just Lee. Lee's crazy. Not like you were all in on it or anything. Yeah, let me know if when you're available, if you want to be available. I don't know if Warden is strong enough to deal with Ergon. Okay, alright, so which part is crazy? The Whelp Spark or the Ergon being playable? I don't know, I think we could... Glamour's really good though, too. Yeah, the meta is crazy. Like, right now, there's... And I say this, of course, shooting myself in the foot, right? But, like, so few people play Argent Saga that we don't have enough people out there playing non-meta decks to really flesh out the meta and see what's working. We have people that are playing the new stuff because the new stuff is fun, right? It's new, it's shiny, people want to play with the new stuff. And we have, you know, Mateo, which is an obviously very strong deck. And people focus on things and they get, you know, put on the blinders, and then it's all they see. All they see is these one or two things. Ninja Penguins is legit. I have a deck built. I have my Penguins deck built. And it is a ton of fun to play. But it does not have the answers from Mateo. Nice. Yeah, it's good to have a good array of decks that you can play against to really see how things feel. Met is beatable. Met is beatable, guys. You can do it. Yeah. You want to be an anime villain? uh, that's pretty funny. Yeah, I mean, everybody who plays Met, they say, it feels bad to play it just because of how good it is and how oppressive it is. But they're like, yeah, it's just so good. It's hard not to play it. I'll pull him up. So he is a 3 cost with Destroyer. And he has Offering 3. Add this card from the discard zone to your hand. Yep, you gotta put it on top of a gargoyle. It's really spicy. It's a really good card. And he's got 3,000 power. What, Pirate, what, gargoyles do you put him on? Pewter, and what's the other one? Gigith and Obsidian. Hmm. So, Obsidian 2-drop. When this card is sent from your deck to your discard zone, you can put it into play. Gigith, arrive. Put a protection counter on another target unit. A Gargoyle Mimic. Cost 3 to play. Ruined. Target 1 dark unit in your discard zone with Ruined and apply its Ruined effect. Oh yeah, that's a good point. That's pretty solid. I would, you know, that's a pretty legitimate, package that you're building up here. What about, Enforcers? Do you play the Enforcers? Whenever this card deals damage to an opponent's tower, your opponent discards a card and you draw a card. And whenever your opponent discards a card, you may add this card from your discard zone to your hand. Alright, so I think Catastrophe Demon's great. I think this is my hand here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. If I want to... Okay. If I wanted to, when I sideboard, if I wanted to switch out everything, I could bring in these 12 cards and take out my 12 black cards and just go mono red. I think this is a good sideboard. What do you guys think? Do I need to change anything in the sideboard? I got 3 Gaze, I got 2 Raptors, 1 Destroyosaurus, 1 Visitor, 3 Repro, 2 Spark, 2 Flame Strike, and 1 Amulet. I don't know how good 1 Amulet is, though. I feel like if I'm gonna bother with the Amulet, that I need to have more. I want to be able to have the Repolooms so that I can switch into a more aggro package. So I don't want to cut them just because I want to have the ability to be more aggro. It costs 5. It's too slow. Triggered abilities of units and augments do not trigger. Once per turn, expel another unit you control. This card gains immortal until end of turn. So the problem with this card is it doesn't shut off what I need it to shut off. Because this only stops triggered abilities, such as like Ruined and Arrive, like that kind of stuff. I have 1 Zephyr Crystal in my crystal deck, in my shard deck. The Mongers, chickens of the sea. But yeah, the amulet. If I kind of want to run more than one. I think I take it. You know, I love Visitor. I am a very, very, very strong advocate of Eccentric Visitor. But I just don't think that he's a good fit for this deck. I think he's going to end up being too slow for what I need. So right now, these 4 cards are our flex cards that we're looking at for the sideboard. I already have 2 Whelp Sparks in here. I think Glamour's pretty solid too. I think, you know what, I think I want to put... I think I want to take out Delayed Poison for the glamour. I think I like that. Why do we treat in this deck? Oh, we treat so that we can shade. I don't think... Do we actually hit shade in this deck? How strong is that? Now that I'm thinking about it, I mean, we are expelling our stuff so much that we're not likely to have a very thick graveyard to be able to drop a shade out, even with treats. I think probably the treats and the shade could potentially go. Right, because you can sacrifice the... you can use... I don't know. But what would you put in the graveyard, though? How do you get the Blazewalkers expelled from your graveyard to the expel zone? Okay. With offering. So then, do I want to go to a third Ghostly Demise? No, I think that's the numbers there are right. Okay. Yeah. I agree. Alright guys, I think this is our sideboard right here. Maybe. Do you like Glamour better? But if we're not, but we need the offering though. If we're going to be expelling our Blazewalkers from the graveyard, we need to be able to have a way to do it. We need to be able to have that engine that expels them from the graveyard. So let's see. We have Shade and we have um, Serpia is pretty good. Alright guys, I think we just leave this alone. The 2 treats, the 3 yamis, 1 glamour, the 3 devourments, 1 shade, and 2 demise. Expel 1 Blazewalker from your deck, then you may add a card with the same name from your deck to your hand. Ursatovus and Ceramini. Well, if you're still needing a Serpio, if you don't own any yet, let me know. Hit me up and I'll get you one. Yeah, I don't think we have any room for another glamour. So I gotta flip this over upside down and then save it. Alright, that's 1 deck down. I've got 2 more decks I want to build. Maybe just 1 more. Maybe I'll skip the Gemio Kite for another day. But I do want to build Helena Ursatovus. So I'm going to take a quick bio break for a few minutes and grab a snack to eat here, grab a bite, get another drink to drink, and I'll be back in a few minutes. I'm going to go ahead and switch this over to my waiting screen, and then I'll be back in a few minutes. Enjoy the music, hang out, come back in a few minutes, whatever you gotta do, and thank you everybody for hanging out with us. If you're listening in and you haven't yet, please hit that follow button. This way you get those announcements that I'm coming online in the future. I'll be on and off as I go. I can't make a set schedule, unfortunately, because of my work schedule. Thanks for the follow, Prinny. I can't make a set streaming schedule, unfortunately, because of my work schedule. I work 12-hour swing shifts, so it's really hard for me to be able to... What am I sideboarding out for Repro? If I gotta go more aggro, I could take out the red package, the darkness package altogether. So, I have enough cards in my sideboard. Oops. I have enough cards in my sideboard that I can switch all 12 of these cards out and switch into an aggro. Maybe not that. Maybe not that one. I don't know. I'll have to figure it out. So let's see. Which one would we figure out here? We would probably take out to be more aggro. We would probably take out the 2 treats. Or the 3 devourments. But we only have 3 cards, 3 gazes. We would bring the 3 gazes in because we'd want to be able to interrupt our opponent's hand to get rid of any removal. I'd want to bring in another Destroyosaurus. We could take out some of the Rayona package, I think. Because the Ryona package is another Dirtle package where it just kind of like cycles around and flips around. So we can eliminate either the Blazewalker or the Hoenna or the Ryona packages and switch it out for the more aggro package. And if we're going to do that, I think obviously cutting the Ryona package is a lot easier to do than cutting the Blazewalker package. I think that's the right answer. Do you think that's the right answer? Cut out the Ryona package? So I'll be back in a few minutes. I'm gonna go take care of a few things, and then we'll start working on some Hoenna, some Hoenna Urza. Hey everybody, how's it going? I'm back. Alright, so let's see. Next we're gonna work on Hoenna Ursa Tovis. Gonna start by pulling out some of the obvious stuff. Yamis, Devourments, Allurement. Daylon. Got a nice big boy Daylon there. Avarice. Excuse me. Demon. Rely. Dusk Strike. Hidden Laboratory. Let's see what else in there. We could potentially use the Throne Guard. Potentially. Oh, like a good Nobe. Glamour. Wrath. So let's see. Probably just one of that. Failed goal. Gloom Neophyte is pretty cool too. Especially since it's a May ability. Let's see what else we got. Death Whisperer. You may sacrifice a unit with Ruined. If you do, its Ruined ability triggers twice. Turning Shadows is one of my favorite cards too. Target unit gets minus X thousand this turn. X equals the number of dark units in your discard zone. It's a good removal spell, but it's slow. That might be in the sideboard potentially. Alright, I gotta go get a copy of that Ghostly Demise. Alright, so probably two of these. Probably two of these. Three armies, of course. Three Defilements. Maybe one Neophyte. I don't like that he can't attack. And I don't have Serpio in this deck in order to be able to kill him on command. like me some golem of allurement, but let's see. I don't know. 1, 2, 3. This guy's probably gonna get the turned out over there. You know what's funny is I could actually run, instead of the Rayona package, I could run a significant part of the Blazewalker package in this deck. What, 2, 3, 3. So I have two options. I could pick the Blazewalker package. So what would I need? The bare minimum. So I'm just copying over cards I need from that package there. Oh yeah. So 10. So I can do 12. So, if I were to make this my Ursatovus package, what do you guys think about that? When this card is expelled, you may reveal the top card of your deck if it's a dragon or unit Planeswalker with cost 4 or less, so you can put it into play. We can also play Enforcer, because Enforcers are dragon. When this card is expelled, you may deal 1,000 to target unit. When this card is expelled, you may shuffle 3 of your other expelled fire units into your deck. If you do, draw 1 card. Expel 1 card, 1 unit from your hand. Expel this card. Yeah, so we could make this work. Ursa is 12, yep. Bone Scavenger. Definitely need some Bone Scavenger in this deck. It'll act as another way to be able to expel units with a Planeswalker package as well. So I'll have I'll have Ghostly Demise and I'll have Bone Scavenger in order to be able to expel units. I'll have a very Glamours in order to try to nullify things as well. Golem of Avarices, Golem of Allurements, and 1 Gloom Neophyte. Alright, let's see how many cards this is. We have 9, 25, 31, 41, 43. That's not too bad. We're at 43 right now. So that's not too bad. 43. What would we want to cut? Wait a minute, did I not copy? Oh, there they are. Okay, I did copy them. What do we want to cut? So, I gotta make 1 or 2 cuts. Nothing too crazy. Do we cut that Gloom Neophyte? There's a lot of things that can discard things. Oh, yeah. This is actually really good against Met. So we might want to actually play some more of these in the sideboard. Play 1 in the main, 2 in the sideboard. Oops. See. Do we play, what else do we want to play? We want to make sure that we have 4 drops. So we do have 4 drops in Demon and Nobe. Catastrophe Demon is another card we could pull out. Your opponent's unit's insurance. Come to play exhausted. Put him in the sideboard. I want to be able to also have ways to be able to attack my opponent's stuff early on. So we might want some brawler stuff. Some brawler and target Going to hit the Discord here, pull up a bot spam. Going to use the Discord bot that we have to pull up a list of things with text. Unit spell. Alright, so I got a list of units with Brawler here. We have Ariana, Hope of Argos, Astral of Valor, Black Rose Knight, Glory, the Awakened Kara, Linda, Aurea, Radiant Arbiter, Ruka, which would be pretty good. Nice. Subway's Yum, what did you get? We have Tsubasa, Shardwork Knight, Tefile, Warden, Warrior, and Yuri. We don't have a lot of stuff available to us in Brawler. We do have the Tsubasa. But we're not straight up playing the whole Shard Mech package. But if we did, we could do that. We could play the Shard Mech package. Yeah, it is. You think that he should be main? So this is what I have right now for my Ursa package. I have the Blazewalker package for my Ursa. I have the Rain. I have 3 Arcs. I have 3 Expulsions, 3 Leias, and 2 Entreats. Steak. Steak and spicy Italian. Sounds good. Gotta go with my wife on a date night tonight. Not too sure what we're gonna do yet. Gonna probably go eat somewheres. Steak sounds pretty good. Haven't been to Longhorns in a while. So this is my my package right now with my Ursa. I decided to go with the Blazewalker package because I think that it still gives me a really strong shot against Matile and other kind of decks like that as well. Also, in addition to that, it can help me kill things in combat. So yeah, that's just the thing, is there's like 3 or 4 different Howena Ursatovus kind of things that you can do. You could do Blazewalkers, you could do Ryona, you could do Darkness units, you could go discard package, you could just go combat package, and like that kind of like board control package, which is what I have right now. Because I have more of the board control package with the typical stuff. I have like 3 of those, 3 of these. So I have 3 fill goal number 1, 3 Bone Scavenger. The Bone Scavengers are really going to help out with the Blazewalker package in here as well. I got 2 Demise. I have 2 Strikes. I have 3 Yamis obviously there. 3 Devourments, which I'm not a big fan of, right? So I could put Devourments in the sideboard and be happy with that and bring them in against, say, like a Liam deck or something. I have 3 Glamours and 3 labs. 3 labs. So this is my initial thought for this deck. Then I just split my my avarices and my allurements, and I have one neophyte in the main. So neophyte is going to be really good. Yeah, I got 2 allurements and 2 avarices. I have also a gloom neophyte, which is going to be very good against against Matile as well. Whenever a card is discarded from your opponent's hand, you may have target unit get minus 2,000 until minus 2,000 this turn. So if they use their silver army generals and they discard them like in order to get stuff, if they have any pawns or overseers or anything on the field, I could just keep shooting those things and pinging them away. And then I also have the Hoenn Horrific Perfection. I can offer X, destroy target unit, or augment with cost X. And I can only use once per turn. And offering 2, sacrifice another unit. Discard a card, and your opponent discards a card used only once per turn. Obviously, that one's not going to be used a lot, but the second one could be pretty useful. So obviously there's this identity here, but we could also do the Shard Mecha package. We could go 3 of each of the Shard Mechas, right? And then we could go Yugo. Shiru. Tsubasa, Shiru, and Buki. Right, we could totally do that package. Because target attack is strong, Brawler is strong, Guardian's not strong, but it's still a combat mechanic. I don't think you typically play the full 9. But you could. And I think you play 2 Yugos. Once per turn, discard 1 card, destroy target unit or augment. The thing with destroy is that some things can get around it, like the Celestial. He can give himself proof from destruction. So he can't be destroyed. But having this ready to go is still pretty useful. I don't know, it's definitely a very conflicting package with the other offering. With anything that's offering related like Ghostly Demise or the Hoenn Horrific Perfection, if we were to play this package, we'd have to cut those. And in addition to that, we have so many things being expelled from our, Blazewalker package. Yeah. Like again, in this type of deck, I'd probably still want to run a excuse me. I'd still probably want to run a Zephyr Crystal in the deck. So, here's something that could be fun. We have Enforcer. Whenever this card deals damage to an opponent's tower, your opponent discards a card and you draw a card. Okay, that's pretty freaking awesome just on its own. But whenever your opponent discards a card, you may add this card from your discard zone to your hand. And I believe, and it's a dragon, right? And we're gonna play the red shard. The red shard says, arrive, add target dragon unit from your discard zone to your hand, and if you do, discard one card from your hand. So you could use the Wyvern Crystal in order to bring Enforcers back to your hand as well. So they're not completely lost value like they usually are. It might miss timing, right? So it just depends on if you have a dragon in your graveyard or not. So if your Enforcers are already in your graveyard when the Wyvern Crystal hits the board, then you can get your dragon back. I'm not saying that it's perfectly useful, just that it's very minorly useful. Well, there's that for when I'm ready for it. But, that being said, the rest of it, how useful is it? Is the card in general. I think I like Gloom Neophyte better right now. I could do 2 Neophytes, 2 Avarice, 2 Allurements. It does have Brawler, the Ruka. I mean, you know, if I control another red unit. I will have 2 units that have cost 4 more here. Just what do I want to do? I feel like I want to have Brawler because I want to be able to attack my opponent's units. Oh, speaking of which, the other thing that we can look at here. Shywork Hound. So we have Shardwork Knight, which has Brawler and Guardian, but you have to animate it, which is not great. Which one? And we have Shardwork Hound, which has target attack, but it has to, you have to pay the animate cost for it, which is still okay. I mean, Nobe kind of sort of has like arrive, kind of Brawler. It arrives and it kills a unit. So here's the thing, right? So is this the correct red package that we want to run? I have 1 Rain, which if I play a dragon, right, I can get back that Enforcer. If Enforcer is on top of my deck, I can pull that as well as one of my Blazewalkers. The other Ruka, Indolence, yeah, okay, yep. Indolence is alright. It just costs too much to cast. And I don't like the negative value from it. I always have loved when my opponents play Indolence because they have to discard a card in order to give it quickness. And a lot of times, if I'm playing the right decks, I'll just like bounce it or exhaust it or stop it from attacking, or I'll do something to the Golem of Indolence that just makes this card really bad, because then they're just discarding cards for no value. Or I'll bounce back a unit or something that they're targeting. And he can only attack units, which makes him kind of subpar. I've not been a fan. If he costs 3 to play, then we would have something, but 3 plus a card, discarding a card. But yeah, I'm not too big a fan. Yeah. Yeah, Golem Vindolence costs 4 to play. Four plus discard a card to maybe attack a unit, potentially, possibly. Well, sure. But you're 2 for 1ing yourself to do it. It can be. Can be beneficial. Like, you could discard, like, if you were using, like, the Shard Mecha package, you could discard a Shard Mecha. It doesn't really matter if they're in your hand or if they're in the graveyard, because you go pulls from both in order to play them out for free. Yep, you can discard the Enforcer, get it back. Search your deck for a non-legendary. The other thing that we need to think about too. Is Great Behemoth, just to have him out on the field there on the side. So if I were to make Hoenna Sola, I'd be playing 3 copies of Reckless Shard Beast. Because I'd be playing 3 copies of Eccentric Visitor, and I would have Yuki's. So Reckless Shard Beast is quickness, and it helps make sure that my towers are set for those 2 interactions. This way I can use them to better effect. Silverstone Sentinel. Yes, Silverstone Sentinel is another fantastic card against Met. That's what I thought. So once per turn, when your opponent activates or triggers the ability of their champion or spirit, you may choose one Draw a card or expel target unit from your opponent's discard zone. Speaking of which, Slurper. Marrow Slurper is another one. So, arrive, expel target unit from your opponent's discard zone, pay 1 to discard this card. To expel target unit from your opponent's discard zone. So, he's just kind of a really nice backup to have in hand. This way, when your opponent tries to use 2 of their pawns, you can be like, in response, I'm going to expel this to target the card that you're trying to bring back. I'm pretty sure pawn targets. Exhaust 2, add target Argent unit from your discard zone to your hand. So you could be sitting on this with in hand, right? The Marrow Slurper, you could be sitting with Marrow Slurper in hand with a shard up, just waiting for your opponent to activate the pawn and then deny them the return, potentially expelling their Celestial, which is amazing. This could be actually something that you could also put in the sideboard for the Rain Serpio deck too, because you could expel your own stuff too. Yep. Yeah, Marrow Slurper is great for Hadir. Alright, so what's your thoughts on the Ursa package? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Excuse me. Yeah, because you can use the Horror to expel stuff, and you can use Ghostly Demise to expel stuff. I also have Bone Scavenger, and I also might have Slurpers, right? So I have enough ways to be able to expel stuff in this deck that I can use their abilities. I also have Entreats, which are going to help with this as well. And Leia can come into play and then expel her stuff and bounce back and forth and do a couple things too. Yeah, I mean, like, I wish that we had space. Excuse me. I wish that we had space for a little bit more, like maybe like a third Entreat or something, and then a couple other things. Maybe like Rukas, like bring the Rukas in. I'd love to bring the Rukas into this package, right? But then I'd have to have fire units on the board all the time. Oh, you do need a fire unit for expulsion. I always forget about that. If you need a fire unit on board for expulsion, then that's going to be a lot harder to use in this deck. Yeah. So, if we were to redesign this package, What do you mean, like have them in the sideboard or something? It says when you destroy a tower or unit in battle, place a counter on this card, remove 3 counters, and make a golem unit. I got one for us. Ashbourne Sprites. They're 1k, they can destroy some towers, right? Plus they are, you can pump them up with Ursatovus, make them 2000. They fit underneath Great Behemoth, so they can get bigger from Behemoth. They can come in for free, and then you can still Ruka with them, and you can Expulsion with them. Yeah, I was just looking at the Ashbourne stuff to see what we got here. Whenever your opponent, Ashbourne Shaman, whenever your opponent plays a spell or uses an activated ability, you may search your deck for a fire spell. Nope, we're not there. Whenever your opponent plays a spell or uses an ability, activated ability, you may put into play a fire elemental token. Excuse me. And then sprites. Void fire. Excuse me. Let's see. We have... Ooh. I know this sounds silly. We might have a couple other options too. We could play one Route Wyvern Rider because he's a fire unit, and when he dies, we get another fire unit. He has quickness. He's a 4-drop, which is really important because with Ursatovus, in order to get Destroyer, it has to be a 4-drop or better. So you can give him Destroyer, and he's a dragon, which you can get back. He's a dragon that you get back with the Wyvern crystals. And let's see. So another thing that you can play is you can play a Vehement because you can Dail on it. You can Dail on the Vehement because it's not legendary, and you can cycle it back if you wanted to. What's the new Ruka unit, too? While you control this card is also treated as a dragon unit. Not important for this deck. This card gets plus 500 for each of your expelled dragon units. And then arrive, you may expel a fire unit from your hand. If you do, draw a card. If you expelled a dragon unit, draw 2 cards instead. Yeah, It's a good card. It's just not fitting in this deck. Oh, you know what else? So we keep talking about this Wyvern Crystal, right? And people keep saying, oh, Wyvern Crystal has no use. It has no use. We can't use it in anything, right? Hello, Shardwork Dragon. It's a dragon. And it's actually a card that I really like because of the quickness. It's basically a 2k quickness for 3. Yeah, you just gotta find the right shell for it. Voidfire's Shadow could be fun too. Yup. I could put that in the sideboard. The Fire Cosmic. I don't know if I like Vehement in the in that list though. I'm not dead set on the Blazewalker package. And Flame Strike is still good. I think we could definitely put a few things in the sideboard. I mean, like, we could play a Bahamut. That would be pretty fun. I mean, it would be fun. I'm not saying it would be good, but it would be fun. Ooh, Rayona's Pet Dragon. That's one we forgot about. Can't be the targeted by spells or abilities, which means that they're protected from the Celestial. If we put this with the Rayona package, oh, but he can be. So you'd have to make sure to have multiples of these guys hit the field. If you get 2 of these on the field, then you're protected. Your field is safe from being targeted. Your shards are not safe, but if you already established a board state, you can continue to attack, right? You can keep attacking your opponent's towers until they're gone. And it might just be that extra push you need. I'm not saying like it's necessarily a solution, right? But it's just another tool. Another tool in the toolbox. Yeah, I don't know. It's not that crazy. Now I want to build a dragon deck. Is that wrong of me? I want to build a dragon deck so bad right now. What do you think about Scarlet Slayer? Is that a legitimate card right now? Could we really use this to close a game? I mean, we could, but it costs 3. I don't think I like that. I think it just costs too much. If it costs 2, it would be perfect. Yeah, absolutely. I've heard of some Dragonholt Striegler decks out there, and I agree that they have some very strong potential. What do you think? Behemoth or not Behemoth? Do we just play another Ashborn Conjurer instead? Yeah, agreed. 100%. You could use Enforcer and Hand Disruption. So if you use Melanite's Gaze, right? Wherever that went, Melanite's Gaze. You could use Melanite's Gaze. Yeah, I like it. You could use Melanite's Gaze as well as some other hand disruption as well in order to generate that discard value with Luna. As well, you can discard with Luna, you can discard with Behemoth's Gaze and a couple other discard things. And then you could also play, like, just because you can play like a Gloom Neophyte or something. The reason that I like the sprites is because they can come down for free on a turn when I want to be able to cast these on turn 2 if I need to. I want to be able to cast these early. Like if I can get a free Ashborn sprite and then rip a Ruka right away, I think that's a really solid drop in. I could play a second Ashborn Conjurer over Behemoth. And I could put Behemoth in the sideboard. Because Behemoth is a little bit high costed. Let's take a look at that. I mean, getting a ton of, like, that fire, the token is 1,000 power. That's a really good token unit. Just for free because your opponent's playing things. And then whenever they die, deal 500 to any target. Wait a minute. To target unit. To target unit. I like it. Yes. And I'm thinking about it. I'm very strongly thinking about, okay, do I want to main Behemoth and maybe go with a lower package of units? Because Slurpers get the pump. The Hounds get a pump. Yeah, exactly. I'm already on the low end of things. Play 2 of those. We take out the Conjure, the Hoenna, Horrific Perfection, because we're kind of moving away from that now. Alright, leaving the red package looks good for now. I think that we put the Demon of Evil Eye in the sideboard. Yeah. So one of the things that we want to be able to make sure that we can do is we want to make sure that we can stay above opposing rain decks. So if there's going to be rain decks out there in order to counter the meta of, in order to counter Metile, we need to be able to make sure that we can beat rain. So we need to have strong units. Yeah, Shardwork Dragon comes into play. He gets the bump from the Behemoth as well. Plus free fire units. Nobe's so good. I like Nobe. So we have Lab, Demise. These might not be as good right now. Glamours. Alright, so Glamours. You do? I mean, like, yeah, he's good, but I don't know. I think the Enforcers go to the sideboard right now. I think I like to keep the Neophytes, the Gloom Neophytes in the deck. How do you feel about 2/2/2 for these 3 drops? So 2 Neophytes, 2 Avarice, and 2 Allurements. I think we keep the Ghostly Demise. The reason why we keep the Ghostly Demise is it can help us out against Metile as well as other aggro decks still. Yeah. So between Bone Scavengers, Slurpers, we have a lot of things that can expel units from our opponent's graveyard. So between those 2 and Expulsion, do we have enough to be able to get underneath Metile? Only time will tell. Yeah, but Glamour is not effective against the Celestial. I don't feel like Glamour's as effective against Celestial. Because they just don't stop him from using the abilities. Like, even if you go to glamour it, right, they can still activate it in response as well. It does not bypass his immortal, does it? Search. Maybe it does. Hold on. Okay, it does say this card gains immortal. So because it gains the ability immortal, it would be nullified by glamour. But you have to make sure to stack it on the queue so that the immortal resolves first and then the glamour resolves afterwards. Yeah. Another card I could consider for the sideboard is Argent Egg. Not Argent Egg, but Scarlet Egg, sorry. Oh, no, wait a minute. Hold on. Scarlet Egg searches for a dragon. Never mind. Alright, let's see how many cards we have in this massive pile anyway. Yeah, I could put that in the sideboard. That's actually a really solid idea. Because I can bring that in against Liam. Alright, I have a lot of cards in this deck right now. I think we need to bring this down and focus it up some. So, here's that package. Alright, so Bone Scavengers are a must-have. Those are a maybe. Failed Golems are kind of a must-have. Although, it could be argued for either one, but Labs, must have. Slurpers. I'm gonna call Slurpers a must have. But here's the thing, right? I can actually put them in the sideboard because I'm not running the I'm no longer running the Blaze Rocket package, so I don't need them for my own stuff. If I'm not facing Matile, these guys aren't going to be as useful. These really need to come in against Matile, so they could be my sideboard tech for sure. So I like the Slurpers, but they're gonna be side tech. The dragons. I like the dragons. a lot, and I love that I can bring them back with the Wyvern Crystal. I can see maybe 2 glamours instead of the full 3. Golem of Devourment. I've run Hoenna without him before, but that was Hoenna Sola. I think Hoenna Sola. Excuse me. I think Hoenna Sola, I would skip Golem of Devourment. But I think with this version, I can keep him. Obviously, Wraths are going to stay. Nobe. He's good. He can kill a lot. He's got Guardian, which is nice to have a Guardian, even though they're not as useful as they potentially could be. But it is nice. And he costs 4, so he comes into play underneath the Spirit of Versatovis. I think that he's solid. I like Nobe a lot. Gloom Neophyte. You think he's a filler? Yeah, he's good. Let's put him over to the side for now, because we're probably gonna have to cut cards anyways. So I'm also gonna put this Sentinel over here with the Slurpers. The Dusk Strikes are better now. We have those and those. But they're still not good because we have to have a dark unit. And it feels like sometimes we might struggle having a dark unit when we want it, when we want to kill something. So we have Nobe, Catastrophe Demon. I think Hoenna can go back in the deck pile. The Hemlock can go back in the pile. Yeah. Yeah, Gloom Neophyte can hold his own. Her own. She can hold her own. Although she is new to the ways of District Gloom, her power is unmatched. And then just a general purpose, 2 of each of these are solid. Behemoths. Daylon is obviously a must-have. And then 2 Demise. Yeah. That's a pretty awesome card. I like this card a lot. I think Golem of Allurements actually might be a little slow. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take one, I'm going to put it in the sideboard, and I'm going to do one main board right now. And this is coming from the guy who would run 3 of these guys over Avarice. I feel like Avarice is more important with the Gloom Neophyte triggers as well. You may, and it's incredibly important that she says may have target unit. Get Magic of 2000. That's like a very critical component for me. Demon, I think I gotta cut Demon for space. We keep all 3 of these Wraths. A 3rd Golem of Avarice? Maybe. Do you think I should just play 3 Avarices? I mean, I think I just used 2. because I can bring them back with Yamis. I can take one and put it in the graveyard with Failed Golem. I can take one of these and put it in the graveyard with Golem, or with Failed Golem. So I'm only hitting what I need with those. And I think maybe, but it's kind of plain. Lyu is kind of just doesn't do a whole lot in and of itself besides just be a creature. And I need stuff that is gonna up value. Alright, so right now we are at So right now we have a lot of cards here. 10. Yeah, Golem, Failed Golem number 1, he'll have enough stuff to hit. Alright, I think we need to work on the 2 slot a little bit. I think these glamours might need to go. 20, 30. So if I got 14, that's 20, 30. I run a 42 card deck, it'd be fine. Either that, so it's either we run with glamours or we run with Ghostly Demise in the main. We could do one or the other. I think maybe we put the Demise in the sideboard and Glamours in the main. Oh yeah, we forgot about the Hounds. That's right, because we're putting the Hounds in the sideboard. Yeah. Honestly, and like Demise being able to hit only one cost of type of units is kind of rough. It's not exactly very fun when you're not hitting it correctly. Alright, so let's slide this pile over here. So 42. I'm happy with that. Towers. I think we go fire. Darkness. Because if we have Gloom Neophytes in here, we want to be able to make sure that they can discard a card at some point. To be able to potentially shoot the unit that killed this, or the next unit that might be attacking. Yeah, we don't really have a whole lot of quickness stuff. I mean, instacast stuff in the deck. So we don't want to use Tower of Gusts. Yeah, I'm thinking all basics. Although, Tower of Glimmers has a nice ability. It being a smaller tower, it kind of sucks. Alright, so sideboard. We got hounds, we have other stuff, and more other stuff. Yes, yeah, exactly. I mean, like, it's so weird to think that just that much difference in power really contributes to a decision on whether or not to use it. So I want to keep one Flame Strike Phoenix in the sideboard because it's going to be really good against Repro Bloom decks and stuff. And I could see maybe keeping Caustic Fire. I don't know. But also probably not. I think we're going to skip on the Cosmic. I think I'm going to skip on the Throne Guard. And the Abyssal Maw. We'll put these bullets in the deck, in the sideboard here. Keep a Golem of Allurement in the sideboard. Two Demise in the sideboard. Just for token decks, I think. I think we want to make sure that we can have an answer for token decks. Glamour. I have 2 Glamours in the main. I don't think I need a third. Dusk Strikes. I'm not a fan, and they're not going to get better after sideboard. Gloom Neophyte. I like it. Do we want to go ahead and just make it a 43 card deck and just throw in 1 Enforcer? I think it would be a ton of fun. Let's do it. Let's be bold and dangerous. Like Darkwing Duck. Let's get dangerous. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, here we go. What do you guys think about this as a sideboard? We have the Slurpers that we can bring in. We have the Slurpers, the Sentinel, another Gloom Neophyte if we want to. That we can bring all of those in against Matile. Yeah, like those 2 are definitely flex spots, but I think all 3 of these are flex spots. That even including the Demon. I know people like the Demon, but I have not been a fan. It's just not been a card that I've liked. I could literally cut all 3 of those for 3 Argent Eggs, and I'd be okay with that. You think cutting all 3 of those for the Argent Eggs? Because they're dragons, so yeah, exactly. So I have exactly. So in here, I do have some cushion against Liam, but not as much. Like I have the Golem of Devourments, right? Plus, yeah, they're dragons, so they can come back. I like it. These guys would come in against a few different things. What would they come in? What would I bring Hound in for? Just to be another low drop attacker with target attack? That Wyvern Crystal, man, is gonna see some work. Yeah, against aggro. I agree. Stuff that makes units, because I can use my Ursa Tovas to make them bigger too, which would cost a lot. You know, but actually, I don't have to be as worried about how big he is because I can use the Behemoth with him too. Yeah, if I'm on the play and they play unit, right? That means they have to discard a gear to protect their 1k unit. What do you think? I like it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun to play. Sample hand. It is pretty heavily costed. What would I put down? I'd put down Glamour down, Expulsion, depending on what I'm playing. If you know, just for the sake of it, we're looking at what we would put down here. And a Nevite down. Yeah. That's pretty solid. No effect. Oh, womp womp. Oh. Combat. And then play another one. Or even not play another one. You just hold this one in hand actually. Use this to expel something. And then hit. Or not expel something. Just hold it up to expel. And hit a tower and then see what happens. I got one of these guys. Let's see what happens. Ah, no effect. I mean, that's not how that's supposed to go. But obviously, you know, they're not always going to be useful, but when they're useful, they're useful. If you could get it, that would be awesome. Tabletop Simulator is amazing. It's very smooth and easy to run. I could pump it up with Ursa right now, make it a 2K. Yeah, it is tremendously better than Untap. But there are some people out there who will disagree and say Untap is better than Tabletop Simulator, so it's whatever you like. For streaming, I like this because it's very visual, and everything looks a lot cleaner, better colors. I can change the angles, change the colors. I could just be more lively with it. I can do more. And it's really good for deck building. You can't lay out cards on Untap like you can on Tabletop Simulator. And then once you get familiar with the buttons, just like anything, you become whiz at it, then it's really easy. Yeah. Alright, so I guess I'm gonna save this deck now. Actually, I think I do. Saved objects. I think I have a Howena or Satovis I need to get rid of. How do you mean? Like, this is obviously, this module is dedicated to Tabletop, I mean, dedicated to Argent Saga, so